Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go. Blast off.
This is True Capitalist Radio. True Capitalist Radio.
I am your host, the man they call Ghost.
The badass of business.
Give him capitalism or give him death.
That's it. Period.
Broadcasting from his Skyline office studios in beautiful downtown Austin, Texas.
You sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops, for Christ's sake.
And now, he'll take it from here. Your host, the prognosticator of prognosticators, the man they call Ghost.
How's it going, folks? And thank you for tuning in with me for this very special exclusive edition of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost. And once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. This is episode number 535. Episode number 535 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And folks, before we get into anything else, I'd like to please ask everybody to spread this show around like wildfire. This is a very exclusive show. We are having an interview, folks, for all those folks that don't know, with Tom Kawczynski. Tom Kawczynski is the city manager of Jackman, Maine, who has come under fire from some comments he made about. And look, I've read the comments. This is what they said, that he wants to preserve the European heritage of New England. And then he said something about Islam not being compatible with Western civilization, which I want to be honest with you, I mean, he may have a point. I don't know, but he's taken all kinds of heat. Tom Kawczynski's been all over the media, folks. He's been in the Washington Post, Fox News, you name it. And if you want my personal opinion, I think it's a hit piece, and we have come to an agreement that Tom Kawczynski will give us here at True Capitalist Radio the exclusive. Everybody and their brother is trying to get in contact with Tom Kawczynski so that they can exploit him through the fake news media. We are going to give him the forum here in the second hour. We're going to give him the forum to properly articulate everything that he has said. And I want to also emphasize, folks, that this man, as far as I'm concerned, is not some Nazi, is not some white separatist, or whatever the hell the fake news media is trying to claim about it. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, Ghost, how the hell do you know? Well, just between you and me, Mr. Tom Kawczynski is a part of my inner circle. I mean, I'm just saying. Not only are we making money moves, we're making political moves. Anyway, spread this link around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is live and in effect right now. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And if you have not done so, please follow me on the last bastion of free speech on social media today. And I'm talking about Gab, folks. You can type in your browser right now, gab.ai. That's gab.ai. And you can follow me on that social media platform under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores, folks. Politics Ghost is the name to follow, and I am verified on there, folks. So with that being said, that's going to be the crux of the second hour. As a matter of fact, we're going to try to get done with the cryptocurrency hour and the stock breakdown as soon as we possibly can. And then we're going to go ahead and bring Mr. Kawczynski and interview him so he can articulate what he truly said and not what the narrative that's being painted by the mainstream media said, all right? And I hope that everybody out there, if you happen to know Richard Spencer, if you happen to know Chris Cantwell, Andrew Anglin, or any of those other so-called white nationalists that used to be leftists, tell them, tweet at them, gab them, do whatever it takes to contact them and tell them to listen over here, okay? Because there's going to be some substance flying, all right? There's going to be actual substance on the debating table that's going to make these LARPers, these Nazi LARPers, they're going to make them look lower than a leprechaun's nutsack, all right? Now, with that being said, folks, let's just go ahead and get right into the crypto breakdown. If we do have any other time left over after Mr. Kawczynski interviews, then we're going to go ahead and discuss a little bit about, of course, the government shutdown, how it supposedly had been averted, and how the Democrats got nothing. The Democrats got nothing. They shut the goddamn government down for nothing. And you want to know why, folks? It's much what I said in the past couple of shows. I said if the Democrats shut this damn thing down, they are going to be known in the American electorate as these politicians that could care less about the American people. Their actions show that they care more about illegal immigrants than they do about the American citizens. And let me tell you something right now, that's why you had Chuck kick the American people in the balls, Schumer, capitulate and bow down, for heaven's sake, because he knows that he tried to do his little, I don't know what the hell he was thinking, but I guess he thought his soapbox of standing up for illegal immigrants was going to supersede the idea that they're going against the American people. So anyway, Chuck kicked the American people in the balls, Schumer capitulated, and now they have, I guess, done another continuing resolution up until February, what, the 8th, is it? Oh, Jesus Christ. And moreover, folks, what did the Democrats get? Let's just talk about it real quick, because we may not get to it, because Mr. Kawczynski is going to be on here for most of the time of the second hour. What did the Democrats get for shutting down the government? They got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. They got a verbal consent that maybe DACA will be brought up in February. That's all they got. They got a verbal consent from Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, what a fruity, turtle-looking, slimy bastard. But either way, Mitch McConnell gave them a verbal confirmation that, yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll take up DACA in February, and that's it. There's nothing set in stone. I mean, these people just literally bowed down. The Democrats realized that they done goofed, and that the American people are not a bunch of Euro cucks, and that are just going to sit there and be like, yeah, you know, the illegal immigrants, they actually deserve more than I do. Yeah, the illegal immigrants, they supersede my American citizenry. No, they don't. And that's why the Democrats bowed down today. So the bottom line is that Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, winning once again. All right, he made the Democrats shut down the government. The Democrats, they didn't know what the hell to do. The Republicans didn't budge, and you know who blinked? The Democrats. And they got nothing. If you want my opinion, I think they got a worse deal than they did had they just went with the initial deal in the first place. I mean, that's how stupid the Democrats are. They're idiots. Anyway, with that being said, let's continue on, folks. I was going to, if we have any time after Mr. Kawczynski's interview, we're also going to talk a little bit about Turkey, how they're bombing the area occupied by the Syrians occupied by the Kurds in Syria. Now, lest we forget that the United States is arming and backing up these Kurdish rebels within this area. I believe it's in northern Syria. And what makes this a very precarious situation, folks, is because we talked about this about 3 or 4 shows ago, in which Turkey's Erdogan, the president of Turkey, Erdogan, came out publicly and said that Bashar al-Assad had to go. That Bashar al-Assad needs to be removed as the leader of Syria, which is a very, very precarious situation, because lest we forget that it was Russia that protected Assad during this whole Syrian revolution situation, and as a result, we saw Putin visit Damascus, shake hands with Assad, saying, Yes, comrade, you may have your country back. You may thank me all day long. And lo and behold, Bashar al-Assad has his country back. Putin declared victory in Syria, and now I think he's withdrawn most, if not all, the troops out of Syria. And what is Turkey doing? Turkey's moving and invading into northern Syria, which is, of course, occupied by the Kurds. And he's saying that Assad has to be removed from power. Now, doesn't this contradict what Turkey has been doing with Russia here for the past, I don't know, couple of years? I mean, here recently, what was it, about a month ago, Putin and Erdogan got together in Sochi and did arms deals. I mean, their allied connections are getting closer and closer. And here you had Russia protect Bashar al-Assad from the Syrian revolution. And here you have Putin buddies with Erdogan. Erdogan wants to take out Bashar al-Assad. I mean, what the hell's going on here? Anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about that. All right, let me talk about that. Anyway, last but certainly not least, we're also going to talk about President Trump going to Davos, Switzerland, for the World Economic Forum. For you folks that don't know, this is the globalist epicenter of world corporatism, all meeting together. I'm talking banksters. I'm talking, it's the World Economic Forum. Now, Trump is going there, and I am really looking forward to the president being there because, as you've seen, when he's gone to all these international institutions, he's just bitched them around. Literally, remember that one time when president just kind of yanked some idiot, some European cuck head of state, just get out of my way. I mean, I remember when he went to the NATO's headquarters and chastised those Euro cuck leaders for not putting up money for that ridiculous ambient, opulent fucking NATO headquarters. Excuse my French. It's my tax dollars funding these international institutions. And thank God that Donald Trump is president, putting an end to this crap. For the past 30 or 40 years, our tax dollars have been fleeced. Knowingly fleeced. Because remember, these assholes in Washington, D.C. are supposed to be representing us. But instead, they allow our tax system to be fleeced by international interests. That's what's funded the United Nations. That's what's funded the goddamn NATO. That's what's funded the EU. That's what's funded the Paris Climate Accord. And thank God Donald Trump became president and said, look, you're not doing this to the American taxpayer. You're not doing this to America again. And that's what the mainstream media is not highlighting. I mean, that's what these dumbasses that hate Trump don't understand. If you push these people in a corner and ask them, what is it about Trump's policies that you hate? What is it that he has made into law that you hate? And they can't tell you a goddamn thing because everything that this president has passed into law has been pro-America 100%. No other president since Reagan, and even Reagan did it at a very incremental phase, if you want my opinion. No president has been pure Americana, pure make America great again, pure just straight American than this president right here. And look, I don't mean to get on this right now, but I just want to remind everybody that the only reason people hate Trump is because you have these vested interests who got paid from our tax dollars in Stimulus Package 2. I know I keep saying this over and over again, but I'm challenging each and every one of you. Take a look at Stimulus Package 2, which was passed by Obama and the democratically dominated Congress, and take a look at all the people that got paid in Stimulus Package 2 and compare it to the most vocal critics that are out here against the president right now, and there is a direct correlation between those most vocal critics of today, of our president, and those that got paid in Stimulus Package 2. These people aren't loyal to liberalism. These people aren't loyal to leftism. They're only loyal because they know that they can get a hold of the taxpayer purse and juice it. I mean, lest we forget, folks, during Barack Obama's presidency, this asshole this anti-American piece of trash, accumulated over $10 trillion in United States debts. That's more than every president before Barack Obama combined. And what do we have to show for it? That's what the president was saying in 2016 when he was campaigning. What do we have to show for all these trillions of dollars that have been fleeced out of the American tax system? We have nothing. And all these Antifa, all these liberals, all these leftists, they are so stupid and politically naive and don't understand that if anyone is the biggest corporatist, and I'm talking bankster, evil corporatist, it was Barack Obama. Barack Obama was supposed to get rid of everybody's mortgages. Remember, supposed to get rid of everybody's gas bills. Remember that one woman that was on the damn viral video? Oh my God, Barack Obama, he gonna pay my rent, baby. He gonna pay for my kids, baby. And what ended up happening, folks? Everybody that donated to the campaign contribution account of the Democrats and Barack Obama had open season on the American tax system. And now I'm talking about Hollywood. I mean, take a look at how much Hollywood got out of stimulus package 2. Hence why they're so vocal against the president. Take a look at how much academia and professors and scientists got from stimulus package 2, and that's why they are so vocal against the president. Take a look at all the people that got bailed out. Wall Street, the banks, GE, GM. I mean, this is what's keeping these leftists loyal, folks. They want another go at the American tax-paying dole. And because we have a president that's trying to make America great again, they can't do it. They can't do it. And thank God Donald Trump is president. Thank God. Anyway, with that being said, folks, let me continue. Let's get done here with a real quick crypto hour, a real quick market breakdown. As we can all see, folks, this morning, we started seeing the beginning of, and I'm talking early this morning, the beginning of a crypto contraction. And the reason that we're seeing one now, folks, is because the market is reacting to the news that's coming out of India. The country of India was very optimistic about using cryptocurrency within the past, 2016, 2017 years. But all of a sudden, we've got India coming out the woodwork talking about cracking down on crypto. Hey, Madi, what are you doing, man? I mean, I thought you were trying to economically advance your fellow Indians. Cracking down on crypto, I mean, and let me tell you something. It all goes down to this. The economic policies of India at this point, lest we forget, 3 years ago, they got rid of all their fiat currency. So there is no more Indian fiat circulating India. It's all digitized. So I'm assuming that the state is worried that their little digits they're not worth as much when giving out to the people of India. And look, India's got so many people, folks. They got more people than China. They got more people than China. And now, because their little, digit monetary system is now finding itself into some major competition with cryptocurrency, now you've got India, cracking down on cryptocurrency. Now, with that being said, that took the market for a little bit of a surprise. I mean, that pretty much means over, 1.5 billion, 1.7 billion people out of the market. I think it's a shame. Because all this means is that, and I thought Modi really cared about his people. I'm talking about the head of state for India. I thought the economic policies that he was implementing and how he's trying to industrialize and technologically advance his country at a rapid pace, I thought that he was genuine in his economic approach. But when you're going to deny people cryptocurrency, I mean, you're denying them an access to wealth, or to potential generating revenue, or an opportunity to make themselves better outside of whatever fiat currency that you've got circulating. I mean, this is what I keep telling you about cryptocurrency, folks, okay? Cryptocurrency is satisfying a need, and the need is money. Right now, and I've said this before, if you Google how much money is in the world, it'll give you a quote from the CIA, which has estimated that there is $80 trillion of paper fiat currency circulating the world today. $80 trillion. So lest we forget, there's 7.44 billion people on the earth. So just on a ballpark figure, I would guesstimate that there's at least $250 trillion demand for money in the world today. Now, I know people are asking themselves, how the hell does that work? How the hell does that work? It works like this, folks, and I told you about the Zimbabwe situation, that the Zimbabwe government had printed out so much money that it was literally worth less than toilet paper. I mean, it literally cost $20,000 or $30,000, $40,000 for toilet paper in Zimbabwe. That's how much they have debased the fiat currency out there. What kept the Zimbabwe farmers exchanging their agrarian goods? Cryptocurrency, folks. Cryptocurrency. I mean, they found money through cryptocurrency to be able to exchange their agrarian goods, and they can use that cryptocurrency on a global scale to cash out in whatever fiat that would be suitable to them, that will advance their agrarian operations, that would advance their life, etc. That was a demand for money that wasn't around in the geopolitical area of Zimbabwe because it debased its fiat currency, but because of crypto, it gave an opportunity for those that were out there producing to continue to not only produce, but to yield an actual profit for producing. So that's the demand of money I'm talking about, folks. I had a listener in Brazil who gabbed at me, who said that this person had been working an entire year. He had been living with his family, saving almost damn near everything that he has made, and he was telling me that it was a fraction of what he has generated listening to this broadcast and investing in cryptocurrency in 1 month. And you want to know why that is, folks? He is grabbing a demand for money, because that's what he's getting. When you're buying crypto, when you're obtaining crypto, that's money. That's supposed to be a currency. I mean, right now in Japan, if you wanted to move there, you could pay your rent in cryptocurrency. Japan is overly accepting of cryptocurrency, and there are other countries that are begging crypto millionaires to come to their islands, to come to their countries so that they can develop some economic opportunity within these places. And that's what cryptocurrency, that's what it literally fills as the void. It fills the void of a lack of fiat currency for those that are actually producing or those that want to exchange their goods and services. I mean, and that's what it is. Now, with that being said, I did put out an article today at ghost.report, folks. That's my official blog. You can type in your browser ghost.report. And I wrote today about the end of Bitcoin. All right, because that's what we're seeing right now. I'm talking about the coin itself, the fall of Bitcoin. Now, why do I say the fall of Bitcoin is happening? The fall of Bitcoin is happening, folks, is because I've talked about this countless times. First and foremost, this is an over-speculated coin. Why was it over-speculated? Because it was at the top of mind on anyone when asked what cryptocurrency was. And when they wanted to buy cryptocurrency or they wanted to get into the cryptocurrency game, they only knew Bitcoin. So as a result, all the new money that's coming in and has come in since the inception of the coin has added on to the price. Over speculation. Secondly, the reason it's dying is because it's not very fast of a transaction speed. And another thing, the damn transfer fees are ridiculous for Bitcoin. And lest we forget that the whole value around Bitcoin was that it was supposed to be an alternative to fiat currency, which is a great idea, don't get me wrong. But, folks, even though the idea of making Bitcoin a fiat currency was the intention, because it was the first of its kind on the block, the over-speculation of the market made it no longer economically viable for it to be an actual cryptocurrency to exchange for goods and services.
You are now in the host queue.
Bitcoin investors and the original Bitcoin miners out here, okay, they're trying to claim now that Bitcoin has evolved into some kind of an investment instrument. But don't be fooled, folks. I mean, even if you do have an investment instrument like a stock, like an ETF, like a commodity, it has some relevant value. You can boil it down for it to being valued at some level. If you trade a stock, you at least know that that is a part of an ownership of a company. If you trade a commodity, you know that contract is for a given physical good. If you're trading an ETF, you know at least there is a team of people trading in that exchange-traded fund, coinciding with whatever ETF you're trading. I mean, there is a level of value when it comes to most, if not all, financial instruments. Okay? Bitcoin has no value. Okay? I mean, let's just be honest. It has no value. It was intended to be a currency alternative to fiat, which at this point, because of the over-speculation and the price, it will never be. And not to mention the transaction fees. It costs $60 USD to send $50 USD in Bitcoin. It's ridiculous. And I'd like to know who's collecting that transaction fee as well. Who the hell's collecting that crap? I'd like to know that. But that's what I'm saying, folks. You've got all these old Bitcoiners now that are coming out. They've got them babbling on CNBC and Bloomberg saying, well, you don't understand. Bitcoin is now a financial instrument. It's actually like gold now. Yeah, you know what, idiots? At least gold is a physical object, all right? At least, let's be honest. Gold itself has no inherent value, but women like shiny objects. And if you give a woman a gold anything, she will probably have sexual relations with you. And just based on this day and age of people playing with their Peter Poppers and not bumping real live ones, I think gold is a hell of a lot more valuable than goddamn Bitcoin. There is no value to this thing, man. Everybody who's invested in it is new dumb money, and everybody who's there is just literally holding the bag, hoping. They're hoping. They're hoping it goes up to another $20,000. And you know what? It ain't never going to happen, because the whole value of Bitcoin was that it was a currency. It was supposed to be an alternative to the dollar. It's no longer that anymore, and it sure as hell ain't no investment instrument. All right? Give a woman a Bitcoin and give a woman a badass gold ring with her name on it or something. I guarantee you, she sees the physical gold ring and be like, okay, well, let me go ahead and drop trowel. I mean, I'm serious, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, you got to understand where the value is. There's no value in Bitcoin, all right? Let's get to it, by the way. Let's just go ahead and cover it. BTC is the damn symbol for Bitcoin. Now, the market cap is dropping lower and lower as we speak, folks. The current BTC, Bitcoin dominance of the entire cryptocurrency market is only 34.6%, and it's dropping as we speak. I mean, it is way below $200 billion market capitalization. It's right now at $183 billion market capitalization. Now, the circulating supply keeps going. I mean, we're now at 16.82 million in circulation. 16.8 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has gone down 6.62%. Good God, man. It's actually gone down it's gone down as we speak, 7.13% decrease in a 24-hour period. Current price for Bitcoin is $10,833.10. And I think it's going to continue going down, folks. I'm telling you, there's no inherent value for Bitcoin anymore. So that comes to the conclusion of this. What's going to overtake Bitcoin? And that is the next investment quest for investors right here. People need to start guesstimating what is going to be the new Bitcoin. And what that means is if you invest in some coin now, you're going to reap 1,000+% here within the next couple of years, if not more. I mean, those are the types of profits you're looking for in this cryptocurrency game. Now, people think that Ethereum will be the next king of crypto, and I can see why that is, because it is the first cryptocurrency to offer a smart contract technology integrated within the token. Now, for you folks that are unaware about smart contract technology, I don't want to get into the whole rigmarole about it, but it basically will eliminate the middleman of any kind of transaction. And I've talked about this before. You take Uber, for instance, or take Lyft, or Grubhub, or any of these other kind of third-party type websites in which they do nothing but offer middleman type services and collect fees and all kinds of commissions, etc. Well, smart contracts will eliminate that. It'll eliminate the need to go and call an Uber. And it will eliminate the need to give Uber so much money on both the rider end and the driver end. Because what will happen is that the contract acts as an independent artificial arbitrator that connects the buyer and the seller together. And both the buyer and the seller have to okay the transaction so the transaction can continue and exchange of goods and services and currency can happen thereafter. So with that being said, that's why we have Ethereum, people talking about it being the next Bitcoin. If it is, it's going to be in market cap alone. I don't see Ethereum going too much farther past 1,000, and if it does, even on the most biggest over speculation, as high as it'll go is 2,000. I mean, and I'm basing that on the circulating supply, and I'm basing that on the fact that there is no end supply to this coin. This coin seems like it's going to continue mining itself, just like Dogecoin, forever. I mean, there is no end supply, at least with Bitcoin. If you take a look at the end supply of Bitcoin, there's going to be no more Bitcoins after 21 million. That's it. No more mining after 21 million. Ethereum right now, let's go ahead and take a look at it. ETH, market capitalization for Ethereum is 96 billion in market cap. Now, the circulating supply for Ethereum, almost 98 million in circulation. Almost 98 million. I mean, give me a freaking break, man. 98 million. And there's no end in sight on what the end circulating supply is going to be. So you should keep that in mind. In the past 24 hours, it has gone down 6.02%. The current price for Ethereum, symbol ETH, $994.12. I can't even believe it's at these prices right now. But because we have a lot of new money coming into the market, and let's be honest, folks, most of the money that's coming into the cryptocurrency market don't even know what the hell they're invested in. They don't even know what they're invested in. They're hearing their buddies or something, hey, dude, I just invested this and... Literally, that's all they're doing. You got a lot of dumb money coming into the market, and I think it's very irresponsible for CNBC, Bloomberg, and all these other business media trying to spout off a bunch of cryptos that they're just reading on Reddits or something, all right, and literally trying to agitate the market into a buying frenzy based upon all the shit coins they're sputtering out of their suck hole. And lo and behold, that's why we're having these massive swings, if you want my view, folks. All this new dumb money's coming in and coming out. You know, then you've got Wall Street and their big-time bucks that they've got of other people's money. They're coming in and coming out. There is a lot of money coming in and coming out of this market, folks, and it's dumb money and it's Wall Street. So once again, whenever you see swings like this and it's in the negative, what do I say, man? It's time. Everything's on sale. Everything's on sale. You saw during the last contraction last week, when you saw things pull back about 25, 30%, when it came back and bounced back, most things not only recouped, but added another 10 or 15% on top of what they lost. So anyway, let's continue going, folks. Bitcoin Cash. Let's go ahead and get to Bitcoin Cash. I actually like Bitcoin Cash better than Bitcoin, for heaven's sake. And at least the price of Bitcoin Cash, even if it hits about 3,000, can still be somewhat viable as a cryptocurrency, as a legitimate alternative to fiat, because it's got very low fees of transaction. It's a very quick transaction time, and the price isn't ridiculous. You know? So, I mean, I like this for the short term. I'm not a long-term investor on Bitcoin Cash. It has gone up to $3,000, so you know that there's people holding the bag on it. If you're going to consider investing in anything Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin Cash is not too bad of an investment, at least for the year. Let's get to Bitcoin Cash. Symbol BCH is the symbol for it. The current market cap is $27 billion market capitalization. The current circulating supply is 16.9 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, it has gone down. We're in a contraction, folks. 9.39%. Closing out, or the current price, I should say, of Bitcoin Cash, symbol BCH, $1,622.91 per Bitcoin Cash. Let's go ahead and get to Litecoin. Now, Litecoin has been taking it on the teeth. And the reason it has, folks, is because much like Bitcoin, it's just a cryptocurrency. There's nothing else to it. It is cheaper to transact, so if you want to send it from one wallet to the next, it's not that expensive. It's rather quick in the transfer speed, but outside of that, it's just a cryptocurrency. This is another viable alternative to fiat. If we can kind of level out at some kind of non-fluctuating 20 or 40% price range. You know, we need something stable if you want something to be an alternative to fiat. So we shall see. The word is still out on Litecoin. We've heard a lot of rumors. We've discussed them in previous shows, and I'm still covering it because it's still not only one of the big boys in market caps, but it's been around. All right, it's been around, for Christ's sake. All right. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at Litecoin. Current market cap is $9.7 billion in market capitalization. The current circulating supply for Litecoin is 54 million in circulation, about 55 million. Go ahead and round it off to 55 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, Litecoin has gone down 7.20%. Current price for Litecoin, symbol LTC, $177.88 per Litecoin. Let's get to Monero, folks, a privacy coin. The coin is somewhat in low circulation. I don't like that there's not an end circulation for this one, but we all know now that privacy is definitely going to be something that is going to be sacred in the future, and Monero does have a privacy component to its currency. So that's something to look at. That's why it continues to bump and rise. Not to mention it's contracted very nicely within the past couple of contractions, so I still think that there's some room to grow on here if you're thinking about making a move. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Monero, symbol XMR, current market cap is $4.8 billion market cap. The current circulating supply for Monero is 15.6 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, it has gone down. Once again, we're in a contraction, 10.31%. Current price for Monero, $311.72 per Monero. Let's go ahead and get a Quantum, baby. Let me tell you something. Quantum is on sale right now. Quantum is on sale. And if you're going to be getting yourself some Quantum, now is the time. Now, lest we forget, folks, I mean, even if you're just sitting on some Quantum, maybe you bought a little bit some at a higher price and you're holding the bag, lest we forget that Quantum pays out a dividend, so to speak. I mean, if you're holding Quantum in your Quantum Core wallet, and you can get the Quantum Core wallet at the Quantum website, folks, okay? Download the Quantum Core wallet, transfer your Quantum into that wallet, and leave your wallet on. You will be staking your coins, is what they call that. And if you leave your coins in your wallet, you will actually be earning more Quantum for staking your Quantum. That's called proof of stake. So even though you may be holding on to some Quantum and are waiting for a massive rise in crypto or rise in Quantum, I mean, by God, I mean, I mean, this is a coin for you. I'm just saying. I mean, what's better than making money while you're holding money? You know, Anyway, let's get to quantum, folks. Current market cap is $3.3 billion in market capitalization. And by the way, the symbol on quantum is QTUM. QTUM is the symbol. The current circulating supply for quantum is 73 million in circulation. In the past 24 hours, it has gone down, folks. It's in a contraction, 8.09%. Current price for quantum, symbol QTUM, $45.19, and that's including. That is including the Korean exchanges. So let's continue on, folks. All right, we've got a lot of things to cover here, but I'm going to cut it short because we do have an interview with Mr. Tom Kawczynski, and I definitely want to get to that. I know that there's a lot of people that have been trying to get interviews with him, CBS, NBC, ABC, but he has given his exclusive to the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. So let's just go ahead and cover one more cryptocurrency, and we'll go ahead and let's make two of them. Let's do two of them. First one, Funfair, folks, FUN. You know I'm a big buyer on this one. They're going to have an announcement, I believe, in the second week of February. That is supposed to be a big deal. So if I were everybody right now, it's a very cheap coin. You can throw yourself a $50 or a $60 in it and be able to profit some. I mean, I've got a considerable portion of Funfair. And for you folks that are unaware, Funfair is a cryptocurrency that's integrated into a online casino gaming smart contract-based system. Very, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway, let's continue going here. One more cryptocurrency I want to cover, of course, is the official cryptocurrency of the Inner Circle, folks. That's 42 coin. Let's go ahead and cover it. It has been staying steady around $70,000, $65,000 here within the past several weeks. Once again, it's a secure coin. There's only 42 in circulation, and that is the symbol, 42. Only 42 coins in circulation, and I believe the Inner Circle is in possession of 7 of them. We're trying to acquire as much as we can of it while we still can before it bumps up into $1 million a coin. What we're doing here is we're trying to let everybody know that 42 coin, just based on the scarcity alone, you know it's going to go up in value. If you correlate all the coins that are listed and take a look at their circulating supply. And even if they're not even known, even if nobody knows about these coins, if you take a look at their circulation and it's very low, then you're going to see a higher price on those cryptocurrencies, even if nobody knows them. And, you know, I'm not trying to say that's the sole thing that you should look for towards a cryptocurrency, but, folks, most people aren't looking at anything right now. Most people aren't even looking at anything when trying to look for a cryptocurrency. They're just listening to their buddy and, you know, oh, man, dude, you don't understand Tron. You know, dude, it's a thing of the future, man. You don't understand, man. It's going to be $1,000 a coin, dude. $1,000 a coin? There's 68 billion in circulation, you numbnuts. $1,000 a coin? You actually believe this? You actually believe this? Anyway, with that being said, folks, let me go ahead and continue going. Current market cap for 42 coin is $2.8 million market cap. Of course, the current circulating supply is 42, and it's already all pre-mined, baby. It's all out there. It's all out there, 42 coin. Current price for 42 coin, folks, $67,601.30. You understand, baby? I'm telling you, this coin right here is going to go all the way up. It's going to be $1 million a coin, baby. All right? And if y'all don't believe me, well, you all can sit there and flap your fat Cheeto-stained fingers on the keyboard trolling. But I ain't trolling now. I make money moves, baby. Anyway, with that being said, folks, let's go ahead and break down the stock market really fast, folks. We're not even going to go through all the stock market because we definitely want to get to the interview with Mr. Tom Kawczynski, and we definitely want to hear his side, give him the forum, and not be tarred and feathered by the damn lamestream media, which has done so. And for you folks that are just tuning in, we have an exclusive interview with the city manager of Jackman, Maine, Tom Kawczynski, who has been taking heat from the mainstream media because he said, and I heard what he said, I saw what he said, he just is trying and vocal. He's vocal about preserving the European heritage of New England. And I think probably the most triggering thing that he said was that Islam was not compatible with Western civilization. That's literally the only triggering thing that these people that are having a big fit about it. I mean, but can we just have a serious discussion? I mean, is Islam compatible with Western civilization at this point? I mean, look at Turkey, for Christ's sake. I mean, it was the closest thing to an Islamic democracy. They were trying to be a part of the world market. Hell, they were a part of NATO. They were trying to be a part of the United Nations, for Christ's sake. Or not the United Nations, the EU, excuse me. The European Union, so many goddamn international bureaucracies. Remember, they were trying to make them a part of the goddamn EU. But look at Erdogan. Erdogan came out and showed his true Islamic fundamentalist cards. He pulled that fake coup on himself, July 2016, which I said was a fake coup. You can look back in the archive. And I said that it was quarterbacked by Russia. Nobody believed me because, no, Ghost, you don't understand. They shot down Russian airplanes in Syria, so Putin doesn't like Erdogan. 2 weeks later, after the fake coup, Erdogan and Putin were hugging and kissing, for Christ's sake, in Russia. All right? I mean, I know what's going on here, baby, all right? I mean, let me tell you something. They don't call me the prognosticator of prognosticators for nothing. So anyway, with that being said, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I'm supposed to be covering the stocks. It's supposed to be a stock breakdown here. Now, let's just be a little positive right now, okay? Let's talk about how we have hit another record in the stock market. We have hit more records for this stock market and all the exchanges. I'm talking about all the indexes, all the indices. We have hit records more times during this presidency than any presidency in American history. I mean, we are witnessing the Make America Great Again economic policy in full effect. And you can go back to episode number 501 when I came back after a few-month hiatus. I said that I am bullish on this stock market because we have nothing but good news coming out of this great economy that this man, President Trump, and his economic team is rebuilding from the socialist scum bottom that Obama and the Democrats put us all into. I mean, do you all remember? I mean, Obama was not that long ago, folks. He was readjusting the entire American people into accepting a whole new way of life. A more miserable way of life. That's what he wanted. And I'm telling you, if you thought 2017's Christmas was a great Christmas, you wait till 2018, baby. We're about to go into so much economic prosperity, I don't think that some of these people are ready for it. But I guarantee you, the capitalist army is ready for it. The inner circle is ready for it. Ghost is ready for it. I'll tell you that right goddamn now. Let's go ahead and get to Dow Jones Industrial, folks. Once again, a new record, up 142.88 points. A percentage increase of 0.55%, closing out the Dow at 26,214.60 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. I'm telling you, I'm bullish at least until the fourth quarter of 2018. Then we can have a wait-and-see attitude. All right? We have wait-and-see attitude. But I am bullish, and let me tell you, if you want to diversify your investments, I know I always suggest this, but you should. Value invest the money you save. If you're going to traditionally throw $100, $200 a month in your savings, you're not going to get anything in interest. You're wasting your money. You're just letting it sit there. What you should do is take any company within the Dow Jones Industrial. Any company in the Dow Jones Industrial, folks, is a goddamn blue chip stock. Let's just put it that way. And you want to get a blue chip stock with a high yield dividend. Now, much like I was talking about quantum in the crypto chat when I was talking about crypto, much like quantum, how it pays you to hold quantum, the same thing with high-yield dividend stocks. With a high-yield dividend stock, you not only get paid the up and down value of the actual value of the stock, but you also get paid a dividend per share you earn per stock that you own. So you own, like, let's say you own 100 shares, and let's say you got a high-yield dividend that pays you like 50 cents a share, 40 cents a share, something to that capacity. I mean, those are the high yields that you want, 40 cents a share, and that's a quarter. So those are the kinds of investments that you want, and you want to value invest, because if you're saving $200 a month, some months you're going to get it at a high price, the stock that you're investing, and some months you're going to get it lower. That's called value investing, because what you're doing, you're not worried about the actual price each time that you're investing, because as you value invest throughout each month, sometimes that you bought high, sometimes that you bought low, it'll all even itself out. And if you do that for a few years, folks, you have considerable equity within a given company. And you can actually use that equity or the amount of stock that you own within that blue chip and utilize it as collateral for a financial banking institution if you want a loan for a whatever, business, a car, a house, or whatever. I mean, these are the kind of things that you need so that you can be worth something. You understand? So you can be worth something. You see, like, I want to be honest with you, and I'd like to talk to Tom Kawczynski about this, okay? The current state of white nationalism in America, the alt-right, what are they pushing? They're pushing socialism. What is Antifa pushing? Socialism. Now, if that's the end goal for both sides of the political spectrum, then why are these idiots showing as if they're fighting each other on television? And it's typically on CNN, MSNBC, and those varieties of media, which makes those of us that are level-headed and those of us that just want to live in civil society on the right look like a bunch of Nazis. I've said it, and I'll say it again, and you can tell all those assholes I said it. Spencer, Cantwell, Anglin, all those alt-right white nationalist idiots. These people are a bunch of fakes. They're LARPers. They're ex-leftists. And all of a sudden, miraculously, these guys are down with Hitler. Miraculously, these guys go, especially Andrew Anglin. This guy was an anti-racist leftist who was a vegan. And then what, decided he watched American History X and thought that was cooler, and he shaved his head and had a couple of tattoos, and now he's a freaking white supremacist, alt-right Nazi? I mean, it's stupid! So, what I'm trying to say is that those on the alt-right and the white nationalist side, at least the main talking heads, are nothing more than those on the left, on the Antifa side, because in the end they want to relinquish their own individuality. They want to relinquish their own freedom of choice, their own freedom of decision, their own free will to the state. And folks, that is what socialism and communism is. It doesn't matter what you want to argue it, that's what it is. You submit yourself as the individual to the state. And the state makes the decisions for you. The state gives you what it deems you're worth to the state. It gives you your home if you're lucky to have one. It gives you your food if you're lucky to get enough. And you want to ask somebody who is currently living those current conditions right now, if they're lucky to get anything, Venezuela! That's what Antifa wants. That's what the alt-right wants. That's what white nationalists want. They want the submission of the individual to the state. And I'm a capitalist, boy. Do you understand? Capitalism is the essence of freedom. Capitalism is the essence of the individual. It provides one the opportunity and the means to be able to carve out their own destiny with their own ambitions, with their own creativity, with their own skill, with their own will. That's why these leftists, that's why these white nationalists and these alt-righters and everybody who's trying to promote socialism, the reason they're doing so is because A, they are already life losers and failures, and they're trying to take everybody else down there with them. Two, they're too effing lazy to go out and make something of themselves because they don't understand. In America, you're not given a living. You earn a living, boy. You earn a living. And that means that you yourself have to go out and do whatever it takes so that you can appease whatever it is that you feel is a good life. And that's all we want, right? That's all of us on the capitalist side want. We just want a good life. That's why we work so hard. That's why we put so much mental energy. That's why we take risks. That's why we're willing to take the risk of failing. Because we want better. We want the freedom to do so. We want the freedom to do so. And you see, I'm not afraid to fail, and capitalists aren't afraid to fail. And even if you do fail, that's not the end of the game. You need to pick yourself up and learn why you failed, and never forget it, and never do it again. But instead, folks, what do we have here? Let's be honest. What do we have here? We have a millennial generation that is dumber than dirt. And I don't blame them. I blame the public education system, obviously, the state-run public education system, and yet they're dumber than dirt, but they have the goddamn ego the size of the Tower of Babel. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? These stupid millennials out here think they deserve a managerial job straight out of freaking GED class, all right? I mean, they're not even freaking graduating anymore. They're freaking getting good enough diplomas, and then they're coming out here thinking that they can run a Fortune 500 company. It's pathetic. And because they don't get the managerial position, and because they don't get the big position that's in their stupid, egotistical, autist, Asperger heads, they don't do a goddamn thing. They don't do a goddamn thing. They don't take any initiative to do anything. And you know what they do? They blame everybody else for their own effing problems. And that's the basis of all socialists. All socialists want to make an excuse for their own life decisions. That's the basis of all the people that are promoting socialism. Hell, that's the basis of this Million Woman March. Remember that? This Million Woman March? We might as well call it the Million Fatty and Ugly March, because let's be honest, folks. I mean, these ugly, disgusting old slags that are waddling their ugly asses all over the Million Woman March are ugly on the outside, or as ugly on the outside as they are ignorant on the inside. And every woman out there that was talking about, oh, we need woman powered, we need to be heard, and need to be heard? What are you talking about, you stupid skanks? You're sitting over there with vaginas on your head. You're walking around with vagina costumes, and I talked about this on the last show, but it bears repeating. Folks, women, if you are defining yourself by the hole in between your legs, then you are defining yourself as nothing more than a sexual object. And if you are going to embrace that, if you are going to define yourself as powerful because you have a hole between your legs, you're putting it on your head, you're making costumes of it, if you think that defines you as a woman, then shut the hell up when you're grabbed by the pussy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right? Shut up when Ben Affleck sticks a couple of fingers in your crack. All right? I mean, why the hell why does anybody want to become Ben Affleck? Isn't that the whole reason why everybody wants to become a Ben Affleck? So you can stick your finger up some woman's crack and she ain't saying shit. She'll be like, I mean, give me a break. If you are selling sexuality as the basis of your personality, you can't complain about, oh, he sexually harassed me, and oh, he touched me. If you don't have respect for yourself as a human being to make sure that you as a woman should be respected for the content of your character, not the size of your assets. Good God, man, what a humiliating episode of political activism, the Million Woman March. I thought the freaking Occupy Wall Street protest were the literal ignorant upon ignorant of political American protest. Nah, no, man, the freaking Million Woman March, these freaking slab of freaking slags, they're just waddling around out here. And what are they doing? I'm going to tell you what these women are doing, the same thing that the leftists are doing, the same thing that people that want socialism and communism are doing. They are blaming everybody else for their own bad decisions. That's what I keep saying. Why don't you go look at how many old leather bags and fatties and uglies that are out there at that Million Woman March? Why are they there? They're there because they thought that I can do anything a man can do. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. They thought they could do everything a man can do, and fine, go ahead and do it. And guess what? They realized that they can't raise a child or children. They can't do that coinciding with a full-time job, coinciding with an actual social life, coinciding with actually feeding and raising these children, coinciding with paying the bills of every aspect of life, coinciding with everything, being in charge of everything, making the decision for everything. And look, the statistics of women that are having strokes before they're 35, women having heart attacks before they're 40, I mean, this proves that these women bit off more than they can chew. And you see, that's why they're out there in the Million Woman March acting like a goddamn hypocritical bunch of morons, because they don't know what they want. They're stupid. And I'm tired of the mainstream media taking these stupid skankosaurus slutbags as legitimate political protests. They're stupid. They need to be guided to a kitchen and start getting acquainted with kitchen appliances. Then these stupid old slags that are out there at the Million Woman March will actually be worthy to some extent. Because just think about it for a second, okay? All those women, let's say the power went out, it was Armageddon, and we needed to round up humans in their specialized fields to try to rebuild civilization. Do you think that any of those slags that were out there at the damn Million Woman March was going to make any kind of contribution to the rebuild of civilization other than bitching and moaning? I guarantee you the woman that's been in the kitchen for about 20 years will have more of a contributing factor into rebuilding society than these stupid old slags that think they deserve everything when they've done nothing. They've done nothing. And you know what they think that is so brilliant? They think because they shit out a couple of kids, that they're supposed to be put on some goddamn pedestal or something. I mean, give me a freaking break. Look, I'm sorry I went off this. I'm sorry I went off on this goddamn Million Woman March, but I can't stand it. I can't stand that these women out here have no shame. They've got vaginas on their heads. They're wearing vagina costumes, and then they're bitching that men are using them as sexual objects. They're hypocrites. And then on top of all that, I'm sorry, I have to say it. On top of all that, you've got these same pussy heads, these women with the freaking vagina hats and the vagina costumes marching with women in hijabs. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, can you get any more hypocritical than that, for Christ's sake? Huh? You got a bunch of women out here wearing vagina hats and vagina costumes marching with women in hijabs. Don't you stupid, dumb old slags know that the reason that woman is wearing a hijab is because she is in the kitchen and her husband let her go out to commiserate with you stupid slags? All right? Do you understand that a hijab is supposed to be a symbol of woman oppression, you stupid, dumb idiots? But no, you don't understand that. You are so stupid. You women are so stupid that you think that a hijab is somehow woman liberation, for Christ's sake. Do you understand that a woman in a hijab knows her role and shuts her goddamn hole? Do you know that a woman in a hijab has a husband that she goes home to and answers to? Do you want to know why a woman in a hijab is out there at the Million Woman March? Because she probably got a goddamn Muslim pimp slap and said, go out there and go bring those stupid, fat American women and bring them back to Allah. Bring them back to Islam. You know it and I know it. You women at the Million Woman March are a bunch of hypocritical uglies and fatties. Jesus Christ. Anyway, folks, we are now into the second hour, 6 minutes into the second hour of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. Of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and once again, folks, I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. Before we get started on anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread it around like wildfire and let everybody know that True Capitalist Radio is in effect and in the house. And we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on the official website of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, and it is blogtalkradio.com/ghost. That's blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And, of course, if you have not done so, please follow me on the last bastion in social media today. That's on Gab. You can type in your browser right now, gab.ai, and you can follow me on there under the name Politics Ghost. All one word, no underscores. Politics Ghost is the name to follow. Good God, man. Anyway, look, I was supposed to be getting to the goddamn markets. I'm just going to get to the last two indices, and then I'm going to move on, get some Gab shout-outs, and then we're going to bring on Mr. Kawczynski as soon as possible. I'm sorry, I had to go off on that, man. They were showing these old, disgusting leather bags all weekend on the goddamn boob tube. I sure as hell don't want these women thinking that what they're doing was anything worthy, all right? They made themselves look stupid. They're stupid. Freaking stupid! So anyway, let me get to the S&P, all right? S&P today up 22.67 points, a percentage increase of 0.81%, closing out the S&P at 2,832.97 points for the S&P 500. Once again, Make America Great Again economic policy in full effect, baby. All right, another record for all the indices, baby. Another record. Let's get to the NASDAQ. It is also up 71.65 points, a percentage increase of 0.98%, closing out the NASDAQ at 7,408.03 points for the NASDAQ composite. And, folks, we're going to go ahead and end the markets right then and there, for Christ's sake, because we sure as hell, we're running out of time here. Let me go ahead and and as a matter of fact, I am not drinking today, folks. I know that everybody is used to listening to me drinking copious amounts of alcohol. I actually want to be stone sober to interview Mr. Kawczynski. I'm actually very proud of Tom Kawczynski. I want to be completely candid with you. He is a part of my inner circle, one of the original inner circle members. And moreover, I've had hours upon hours of debates with this man. I don't see everything eye to eye with Mr. Kawczynski, but one thing I do appreciate is that he has a substance-filled perception, meaning that whatever he views as his personal view, he actually has the substance to back it up and be able to combat an actual person who is in opposition of his viewpoint. And I think that you'll find that very exquisite about the man when he comes and interviews here in the next couple of minutes. But I do want to admit that he is a part of my inner circle. And once again, baby, we're not just making money moves. We're making political moves now. You understand? The inner circle, I hate to say it, we're like a freaking digital secret society or something. Anyway, folks, with that being said, let me talk to the engineer. Hey, engineer, are there any Gab shout-outs to be had out here? All right, well, without any further ado, folks, if you want a Gab shout-out, all you've got to do is go to my Gab right now. Politics Ghost is the name, all one word, no underscores, and like the first post on my Gab account. The post says, True Capitalist Radio is now live. Listen in. True Capitalist Radio is now live. Listen in. If you like that particular post, I will give you a Gab Shout Out live right here on the broadcast, right here and now. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to some Gab Shout Outs right now. Who do we have here? I'm not saying these racist names out here. What's going on to Supa? What's going on to Fish? She's in the house. What's going on to Spark Synapse in the place? The Green Leader in the house. What's going on? We've got, I'm not going to say that name, Shy Guy Mask in the house. Mason in the place. What's going on? Who else do we have here? We've got Josh Taylor. I'm not going to say that name. We got Soggy Taters. We've got Maine Igor. Maine Igor. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to mean. 1-900 Fruitcake. Look, shut up. Look, you know, because you idiots last broadcast were making fun of my freaking hotline that is up and running right now. I'm not going to give you guys the hotline. I thought I was going to give you guys the cryptocurrency hotline, but I think that you assholes are going to be prank calling me all day and night, making me look like a moron. So I'm not giving you the goddamn hotline. You all can go screw yourselves, all right? I'm not doing it. All you troll terrorists and cyber vermin out there in internet land, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. We've got Waltman 13 in the house. We've got, I'm not saying that disgusting name. You guys are sick. We got Government Cuck Down, whatever the hell that means. I guess I get what that means, all right? I get that means. Who else? We got the Million Slave March. What the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? Ghost Inner Illuminati Circle. Ah, come on, man. That ain't right. That ain't right. What's up to Aardvark? We've got No Way in the house. Blue Star Nation. Oh, Flamo in the place. Who else we got? We got Money Guy. Money Guy, whoever the hell that is. We've got Kush in the house. What's going on? We got Money Grows on Trees. Why do you all keep saying that crap? Money grows on trees? Money grows on... We get it! We get it, all right? Jesus Christ. Hey, we got Commando Nando in the house. Long time no see, man. Who else do we have here? We got a lot of people. We got a lot of people here. Inner Circle equals Cult of Mithra. Shut up. We're not a freaking cult, for Christ's sake, man. We're a digital secret society. That's all I'm going to tell you. All right, we got Heavy Capitalist in the house. We've got Havel the Rock in the place. We've got BN King in the house. We've got Trumping in the house. What's going on, Trumping? We got Dr. Bristle in the place. Once again, if you want a Gab shout out, all you've got to do is like the Gab or the Gab post that's first on my Gab right now, Politics Ghost. The Gab that states True Capitalist Radio is now live. Listen in. Let's see who else we got here. We got Review Ghost USA, whatever the hell that means. We got Money Grows on Streets. What the hell does that mean? These people are saying the money, like cash money, and then they're putting the word grow. What the hell does that mean? Oh, money grows. Idiot. You see, that's why I don't do this goddamn Gab shout out crap all the time, because you people out there in the internet world, you people are sick, you're twisted, and you think you're big and tough, you think you're all cute, you think you're all funny, flapping your fat Dorito-stained fingers on the keyboard, thinking you're accomplishing something, when you ain't accomplishing crap. You ain't accomplishing crap. Give me the mic. I'm only going to take a couple more of these, then we're getting on Mr. Kawczynski here. We've got Crypto Crapline. Shut up! You see, that's why I'm not giving you idiots, any of my guys. You're not getting my hotline. You're not going to get my hotline. All right, I'm going to put it on Ghost.report where I got legitimate readers. All right, I'm not giving it to you people on this show. All right, I got legitimate readers on Ghost.report. I don't need you damn trolls out here. See, that's what you get whenever you have some kind of a live broadcast. You get these trolls. They're freaking magnets, for Christ's sake, man. They're freaking magnets, man. How do they work? Anyway, we got Super Dan 1000. We got Man Bear Pig in the house. We've got Bernie Gersman. We've got Tech Capitalist. Who else do we have here? We got, I'm not going to say that disgusting name. Stop trying to make me say racist garbage, all right? Stop trying to make me say racist crap. Jesus Christ. $4 for bootleg hotline? Like, shut up about my hotline, man. Y'all ain't going to get it. I'm going to put it on Ghost.report. Who else do we have here? Ghost pile of broken belts. Yeah, that's real fun. That's not funny, really. That's really not funny, man. I broke a belt on you stupid asses back in the day, man. Jesus Christ. Who else do we have here? We got Ghost shut down government. I didn't shut down crap. It was Charles kick the American people in the balls Schumer who did that, boy. All right, I'm taking a couple of more of these, and then we're going to move on with the broadcast. I can see you idiots are just being stupid. We got Distilling Loves Being His Own Boss. 40 poo coin, you asshole. 40 poo. That's it. That's it. That's it, man. You see, this is why we can't have nice things on the internet, man. You see this? This is why we can't have freaking nice things. No more Gab Shout Outs for you assholes. Give me the mic. Give me the goddamn mic. Anyway, folks, sorry if you're just tuning into the broadcast. This is the kind of garbage that I got to go through on a consistent basis, and all I'm trying to do is trying to make this show a little interactive. You know, just trying to make this show a little interactive out here, and this is the kind of garbage that you get when you're a goddamn broadcaster in any capacity on these internets. I'm just saying, this is the kind of garbage that you get. And to be honest with you folks, I deserve a little bit of respect around here. I'm a capitalist, not to mention I give millions upon millions of dollars of information for free on the internet, for Christ's sake, and this is the kind of garbage I get. Anyway, look. Who cares about you people on the internet, for Christ's sake? Who gives a crap? All right? Oh, my God. Who did this? Who did... I'm sorry. Before we get to Mr. Tom Kawczynski, who did this? Who took this picture? Look at my Gab right now. Look at my Gab. Check out my Gab. Is this a real picture from the alt-right party? Is this for real, or is this a troll here? Check out my Gab! Look! It looks like, I'm looking at this right now, it looks like Richard Spencer, Andrew Anglin, Andrew Auenheimer, Weave, and Chris Cantwell. It looks like they're dressed shirtless in what looks like a Nazi, it looks like Nazi garb. And it looks like Cantwell is like whipping them with some kind of a horse whip or something. I mean, is that for real? I wouldn't be surprised if that's for real. All right? I wouldn't be surprised if that's for real. I don't know if it's for... Somebody tell me if it's real. I don't know if it is. Anyway, folks, let me take a drink here. I'm taking a drink of some soft drink. All right? It's not any kind of alcoholic beverage. All right? Now... Before I get to Mr. Tom Kawczynski, I'd like for everybody to please spread this damn show around like wildfire, and specifically try to gab or tweet at these pieces of white nationalist, alt-right socialist garbage. Okay? Seriously. So with that being said, you know, let them know we're having a conversation. We're having a racial conversation about things that were said by a man who wants to preserve the European heritage of New England. And I want these people like Spencer, Anglin, Cantwell, Auenheimer, I want them to hear substance. I want them to hear what someone who is articulate and someone who actually has substance backing them up is going to sound like as it pertains to the white civil rights movement, is what you should be calling it. White civil rights. white civil rights. And what does that mean? That means that right now, and look, I'm not saying this out of bias. I'm saying this because it's the truth. You can't even say it's okay to be white without being deemed a Nazi, without being deemed a white supremacist, without being deemed a racist. Yet every other race, every other group can say that they're proud to be this. It's okay to be that. Black power, La Raza, Chinese power, LGBT, all this crap. But if you try to say that it's okay to be white, you're chastised as some sort of a grand dragon. And folks, I want to say that this is what I feel has happened to Mr. Tom Kawczynski. This man, once again, is a city manager out of Jackman, Maine, who has literally been chastised and libeled and slandered by the mainstream media into painting him into some sort of a grand dragon or some kind of a Cantwell, Richard Spencer character, which he is not. I can assure you all he is not. And by the way, before I bring Mr. Tom Kawczynski on, this man belongs to an inner circle, my inner circle, in which we encompass all kinds of different people from all over the world. All right? We have people from all over the world, and this man has conversations with those folks. We have intelligent debates for hours. This man has never, ever said anything foul. This man, as far as I'm concerned, has never said anything immoral in my presence. I mean, this man is a good man, and I'm not just saying that because he's a part of the inner circle. This man is a genuine good man, and to see him being thrown to the mainstream media wolves just makes me sick. Now, without any further ado, I want to go ahead and bring him on here. Mr. Kawczynski, are you there?
Good evening, Ghost. How are you doing tonight?
How are you doing? Thank you very much, first and foremost, for giving us the exclusive interview. I know that you could have gone anywhere. I know that you were being contacted by CBS, NBC, ABC, etc. But I'm glad that you gave us the forum because I know, and I'm glad that you know at this point, that if you were to give those folks any kind of an interview, they would once again use whatever you say and try to frame the narrative in you being some kind of a grand dragon, or you being somebody who wants to throw people into ovens, or whatever the case might be. And I want you to articulate, sir, because I know for a fact that you said nothing that should jeopardize your job, that should jeopardize your position, or put you in the uncomfortable position in life that you're finding yourself in currently. So I'm going to give you the forum, sir. What exactly did you say? Now, before that, I want to tell you what I heard and I've read in many different articles. Now, what I've surmised is that you have said that you want to preserve the European heritage of New England, which I see nothing wrong in that statement whatsoever. There's nothing separatist about it. There's nothing racist about it. I mean, it's just one being proud of the heritage of New England, the original settlers of New England, and what created what is New England today. Now, the other thing that you said, which I believe is really what's triggering the whole mainstream media, is that you said, and maybe you didn't say it, and maybe the media's quoting you differently, that you said that Islam is not compatible with the West. Now, those two things are what's really making the rounds throughout the media. You made the Washington Post, you've made Fox News. So I'd like for you to go ahead and articulate what exactly you said so that you can get it in detail so that the mainstream media doesn't misconstrue or rewrite or reinterpret what you said, sir.
Well, thank you for that, Ghost. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you giving me a platform where I can actually speak unedited. You know, over the course of this process, I've done probably a half dozen interviews already where, you know, I've articulated at length what comments I've made and not made in my personal beliefs. And every time I say something, it ends up going to an editor who tells a lie or a slander about me or my movement. So let me start with that. Now, I have the fortune and honor to serve as town manager for Jackman, Maine, which is a small community of slightly under 1,000 people in western Maine. We're a quiet town who wasn't looking for attention, neither I nor anyone else, but someone went through my social media and cherry-picked out about 5 comments out of maybe 10,000 I made and put together an article that was designed to basically discredit me and silence my First Amendment right to speech by putting pressure on the town and all the people up here because I expressed certain views. And the views that I expressed were such, as you said, that I lead a movement independent completely of what I do as town manager called New Albion. And what it is it's a cultural movement based in northern New England that's designed to foster a culture built on Western civilization. It has no ethnic component in terms of who is welcome within it, but it has been described as a form of white separatism, which is an inaccurate description of it. However, what gets me into trouble with the press and with people is that I live in a place that is 98% white. Maine is 95% white, and I dare to say that as a public official that I need to consider the concerns of white people as white people, and that white people should not be ashamed to be white. They should reject this idea that there's an inherent guilt that comes with being white, or that there is some advantage that comes from that. I can tell you, as someone who lives in a town with hardworking people who were given nothing special and who've earned everything through their own sweat equity, that the idea of white privilege up here is the biggest joke when you have a legal system that has been structured in many ways to favor every other group as groups at the expense of the equality of white people. And so white civil rights is a big thing that motivates me, and we can talk about that a little bit. The other piece, as you rightly stated, is that I have questioned how Islam intersects with Western culture. Now, I will be the first to defend anyone's right for freedom of practice of religion in this country. I believe in the Constitution and its precepts. However, I also think we have the right as citizens to ask and ascertain which ideas are better suited to what we want to be and which ideas are worse. For instance, if I were to say I hate Satanism because I think child sacrifice is an immoral practice, well, that might seem pretty reasonable. And while I'm certainly not comparing Islam to that extreme, I do think there are certain values they have that struggle to fit with Western views. For instance, their view of women's submission that you see practiced overseas, where you would have, say, Saudi Arabia, where women are punished for trying to drive, or the practice of child brides. That's not to say every Muslim here practices that, and it's not to say that I'm acting out of hatred in any of this, but I want to ask these questions. And the questions make people uncomfortable, so the media has taken this opportunity to paint me as a racist, which I am not. I am a man who loves his people, who loves white people, and loves other people, and accepts that everyone of every identity has the right to have pride in their group. And all I am asking is that we be given that equal consideration. I have been called a bigot, even though anyone who knows me, including all the people in this town, know that I treat everyone with respect. And if I engage people who are controversial, it's because I want to understand them, and I am unafraid to challenge ideas that are orthodox. Because of that, because I was willing to challenge political correctness, and because I have been unwilling to resign on the basis that I believe I have the civil right to express my opinion, especially when the opinions are not controversial and they're common sense opinions rooted in our founders, rooted in individual liberty, which, you know, is the heart of Western culture, and rooted in the respect for the individual that I think all religious and spiritual practices within the American context require should adopt. I think I'm doing well to stand on my feet. Now, they've come after me pretty hard. I've been threatened. My wife has been threatened. My job is actively being threatened and may not, we will see how that happens. And there is a very real possibility I will lose my job over this. But I decided that I needed to stand on this because so often people back down due to intimidation. And you guys need to hear this part of the story because this gets lost. The media paints this narrative where they will tell you everything bad that happens is because I dared to utter my opinion. But it's a false narrative because when people came to my town and put up posters and vandalized places, even though we're 4 hours from any urban area where anyone ever cared about us, where people didn't care about our daily issues or the health center that, I was fighting to save so that people could have medicine so sick people can stay in their community for their lives, that didn't matter. But the media loves to jump on these things, and they jumped on me and they jumped on my town, and they sit there and they call me a racist, and they call everyone who lives in this town, and I quote, this is what people are sending messages to me, a bunch of inbred hicks, when these are good, hardworking people who have never deserved any of that disrespect. And it makes me so angry because I have fought for these people for 6-7 months because I am one of them. And whether or not they share all of my views, this is my home, and I'm going to demand that they get the respect they deserve. But the pressure comes on because one story gets echoed by 6 others. Every reporter puts together a story where an editor goes and puts a headline, he's a Nazi, he's a racist, he's a bigot. All I am is a white guy who loves white people and loves all other people, but has had enough bullshit come at me where I'm just not going to back down. And whatever the costs end up being, I'm going to speak the truth. Because if I cannot exercise my constitutional rights, then what's the point of any of it? And people tell me, well, it's different because you're in a position of responsibility. So what am I supposed to take from that? That people in positions of responsibility are supposed to lie about truth? They're supposed to just say, values don't matter. Ideas don't matter. Now, I respect the laws and I respect individuals, but I did not say ever when I took my job that I was going to lock my brain out and stop thinking. And that may upset some people, but honestly, we live in an age where we need leaders who deal with truth, who deal with reality, and who ask hard questions and do that. I have done my very best to do that, and for that, I have suffered, and my town has suffered. The intimidation levels are just crazy. People go around.
Now let me ask you again. Yeah. There's not another urban town or anywhere where there's any kind of dense population near your town for a good 400 miles. And from what I understand, the terrain out there is not the best to be driving out just for a casual drive to go protest somebody in Jackman, Maine. So that means that there has to be, at least from where you're standing, because you're the one taking this, does this seem like a concerted effort that has got some level of money and support behind it? Because it sounds to me that this is not some organic built movement against you individually, that you are kind of being made as a scapegoat, as a figurehead, so to speak, so that the mainstream media can highlight more of these characters that they can deem Nazi or white supremacists so that they could perpetuate this racial game that they've been perpetuating here for the past 10 to 15 years.
Yeah, that's a fair question, Ghost. And to answer your question, I would say this, that you have people coming up here on a weekday who don't look like they have a lot of money, who don't seem like they have to work, and it's not a close drive. They're getting places to stay, and I don't know how they're doing that. Maybe they're wealthy, maybe their parents are paying for it, or maybe someone is funding them. It's interesting to watch how quick the narrative moves, and to build on what you were surmising. I would watch as businesses in my town would be downvoted with a litany of complaints about me, and fear and intimidation were used to take a town where people should have had the right to make decisions on their own into being intimidated, into being defamed. And I wonder, how coordinated these efforts were. I know from looking out there that there are certain entities working in conjunction. And before the first story even hit, there were a series of organizations, that were already contacted to come together to come after me. And I honestly believe they started out with a very simple goal, which was to push me out of office and to get me to resign. And they have been utterly aghast that to this point I have refused to do so. Now, if the day should come where I leave this office, I can assure you it would be only because of the will of the people of Jackman, whom I have had the pleasure and honor of serving, and not because of any external pressure. And that's a decision that they will have to make, through their elected officials. But for the moment, right now, what I am doing is using this opportunity as a platform to go ahead and speak about the issues that drew attention, and to bring up real questions that deserve to be confronted, which are to say, we should be able to talk about having a better culture, because if we don't talk about the issues of how we want to live, I don't know how we build a better life. And within that, if we accept the idea of individual liberty, and I know you are a big fan of that as a capitalist, seeing the market at the heart of that principle, then we need to have equal rights for all Americans, and that includes white Americans, because if we're really honest about it, the law for a very long time has held the thumb down in favor of every other group except whites. And while I can understand why there might have been a time where that was being promoted, that time, I believe, ended a very long time ago, because in America, we should have a land of equal opportunity. And equal opportunity means equal respect, an equal playing field, and an understanding that white people, as white people, have certain issues. Now, it's up to any individual how they choose to identify themselves. And it's not for me to say how people want to see themselves or what they want to have pride as, but it's not for me to judge either. And I'm tired of being judged in such a way where our problems are minimized, our challenges, the opioid epidemic, the fact that rural America doesn't get support because bureaucrats in Washington and state capitals see us as something to be removed rather than a choice and a lifestyle we want. And as I've gone through this, for all the nasty epithets I've had thrown at myself and my wife and people I care about in my community, it has been so heartening that there have been hundreds, even thousands of people who have reached out to me who have just said, please speak out for us and say, we want to be respected. We want to be considered equal, and we just want to be treated as Americans on the same basis. And that's the part that gets lost, because every time I talk to the media, they don't want to hear that. All they want to say is, oh, are you a Nazi? Does this make you a Nazi? And let me say things very clearly. I am not a Nazi. I am not arguing for separatism. I have not treated anyone unjustly. But what I have done is said, we deserve to have these conversations. And I feel like they are so frightened that the majority will stand up for its own rights and say, hey, this culture we have in America, maybe this isn't the best. Maybe we should look at this and say, could we do something different or something better? That they have decided they will use every weapon in their arsenal to destroy myself for just asking a simple question, not even asserting a firm answer. And all they have are these labels, these slurs, and these slanders. And God bless the American people, but they understand that at this point, all they have are the names they throw at you. Because if you read any of the myriad articles that all come out of one article from the Bangor Daily News, what you will find is if you read the headline and then read the quotes, they don't match. If you read about my movement at www.newalbion.org and you read what I wrote, I explicitly said we were trying to protect nature, culture, heritage, legacy, and community. And in none of these things did I ever enumerate anything about excluding people who want to be here and who want to assimilate. And I think that's the part they don't like, because I do question multiculturalism, because I believe there are better and worse ways to live, and I believe it is our duty as a civilization to ask those questions and stop saying diversity is a value unto itself. It's the ability to.
I completely agree with that. So let me ask you something. So what you're saying is that you're not necessarily advocating any separatism whatsoever. On the contrary, if you had a minority groups successful in capitalism and, you know, having gone through an urban sprawl scenario and they happen to trickle into your community, you're not against minority groups trickling into your community. What you're against is either state-forced integration or subsidized integration, because that's pretty much what's been encapsulating the entire immigration issue in America. Specifically, it started around George W. Bush's time, and it completely exploded during Obama's time. And I believe what you're saying is that if you have a white community, and that white community has a certain culture, has a certain way of life, has a certain social contract, that the state should not force integration of multiculturalism unless the evolution of markets and urban sprawl and the expansion of cities makes people forced into accepting others of other racial constructs, but they still have to oblige the social contract of the community itself, and nor do they have the right as new members of the community to redefine that community. Am I correct?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because culture is a delicate thing, and I don't expect everyone to have to assimilate perfectly. But the reason America worked is because we had a common culture and people assimilated into it, and that's how we got past the sort of ethnic strife and divisions that, you know, today we're not getting past. I know people like to whitewash over that, but the truth is, we have cultural divides that sometimes happen along these ethnic lines, and that's why so many Americans are fighting with one another, and that's not something I'd like to see. Now, to get to your specific point, I think it is incredibly frustrating, and it should be to all Americans of all ethnic backgrounds, that our federal government continues to put resources into bringing people from away, wherever that is, instead of investing those resources into the American people. Now, while I'm sympathetic to the plight of people coming from all the various difficult places in the world, it is the responsibility and social contract of our government to use our resources in defense, support, and welfare of our people. So when here in Maine, you see the government, the federal government, spending millions of dollars to bring in Somali refugees into certain towns, I cannot help but ask, would that money be better spent on any project, infrastructure, healthcare, tax reform, left-leaning, right-leaning, but with the need of taking care of the citizen first? And I think it's a question people are uncomfortable asking, because the establishment consensus is that you don't put your own people first. I mean, let's be honest, they have a globalist outlook that is dismissive of the plight of American citizens, especially in rural, poor areas where I happen to live. And, you know, we need those resources. We need that help. And so, yes, I speak out against those things because, you know, when you bring in people who come from a totally different way of life, there is a time and a cost to that, both in terms of what you invest into them and what you're not investing into yourself. And I think it's fair to ask that, is that how we should be investing our efforts? And I get pilloried for that, but I think it's a question a lot of Americans ask, and honestly, I think it's at the heart of why we have President Trump and not Hillary Clinton in the White House, because Americans are tired of having their leaders, and by this I don't mean just government, but media and everyone else, say we always have to accept more of what we don't want without even talking about, is this a good thing? Is this helpful? Because I will concede there are advantages to the dynamism that immigrants can bring in, but there are also costs, and we're never allowed to talk about them because the politically correct culture has deemed so many things out of the ability to talk about, and they yell at me and they say that I should lose my job because I went out there and expressed my opinion, but it's really because of what I said, because there are plenty of other people who go out there and express their opinion and mindlessly say, well, whatever the establishment has deemed as the values of the year, you know, let's say pro-diversity, pro-immigrant, pro whatever social value you pick. Well, you're expressing your opinion just as much as I am. And in many ways, it's even more radical, especially if you look at the foundational principles of this country and the idea of legal equity, that we have equal rights. We're saying, no, these people need special rights. These people need special consideration. These people need special programs. But you will never see a lynch mob come against their towns because they have the media behind them, and they have the corporations behind them, and they have the government and the donors and all the different entities. And that's why, it takes maybe someone in a small town like me standing up to say, hey, we should question this. Who runs these? What is their agenda? And why will they not let us make decisions for themselves? Why don't they decentralize and let towns and states have a greater say? And so there's all these questions, and I'm not claiming to have perfect answers. You and I have talked much over the years about these big questions, but I want the right to ask the questions, and I want the right to demand equal treatment for myself and people like me. And whatever cost that requires, it's a small price to pay compared to a future where none of us are allowed to ask questions except in so as much as they advance a prepackaged agenda. To me, that is un-American. It is uncapitalist. It is against liberty, and I'm against it. So that makes people mad. I don't get to explain that. I get a 2-minute sound clip where I'm saying that, culture is different than race, and they call me racist because I say Islam is bad. They conflate that ideas and identities are different things, that one is one you can't control, and you shouldn't judge against people for things they can't control. But if you can't make judgments against people because of the ideas they express, how in the hell are you supposed to have a civil society? Because you can't say good from wrong, you can't say useful from not useful, and all you can do is smile and watch while society falls apart because no one can agree on what they want. And I don't know what the answer is. I'm not that smart of a guy. But I know that... Well,
I think that what you're doing is actually... what you're doing is actually a pretty good beginning, because when you phrase the term white civil rights, I think that you have a valid argument when you suggest that, because what you're suggesting here in your previous statements is that classes nowadays are becoming protected. You've got women now that are a protected class. I mean, what is it, 85-90% of the time the woman gets the kids in a divorce, even if the woman is prostituting or philandering. You have the LGBTQ now a protected class. They can literally go and slap you in the face, and you happen to punch them back and say a derogatory word in anger against their brand of person, all of a sudden it's a hate crime. Same with the Black Civil Rights Act and affirmative action.
Use the example of the Christian bakers who just decided they didn't want to do something. I mean, what the government is doing is, they come at me for voluntary separatism, but what the government is actually doing is attacking the right of people to free association, which honestly I think is as much a First Amendment right as freedom of assembly, that you should be able within your groups to go ahead and have beliefs and express them and not have, like, as you said, certain groups protected above and beyond others. And the groups that we all know are not protected in this country are pretty simple. They're white, they're men, and they're Christians. And whether you agree with those groups or are parts of those are the groups that can universally be kicked around. And the same PC media that's out there that will say, nothing bad about any other group ever will have no problem calling you a bunch of hicks or Bible thumpers or any number of different derogatory terms that are just as hurtful, just as dismissive, and it's fine. And I think it's the blatant hypocrisy that we need to oppose, because my movement is designed, well, what I was doing up here was just designed to take care of the culture in this area. But out of the conversations I've had in the moment that has come upon me, what I will continue to push for out of this is the idea of white civil rights. And it's a very simple idea that white people deserve to be treated as individuals with dignity, and the same legal protections as any other group. And if that means that we strip legal protections from other groups that put them advantage over whites, or alternatively, that we somehow grant the same protections to whites, that's for policymakers to decide. But what I believe is you can't say that we live in a country where everyone's treated equally, where you have literally congressional districts that are gerrymandered to guarantee that certain races win. You know, that is what the Civil Rights Act actually did. And while I support everyone having their legal rights, is it fair? Is it just in the land of the free to go ahead and say some people are more free than others? And how long are we going to have this culture where we just excuse certain groups and say, well, if they're part of this group, it doesn't matter, and they're part of this group? And, you know, that's the one thing about capitalism. It's all about individual responsibility. And that's what I want to see, a return to responsibility. And I honestly believe when we get to the point where individuals are judged as individuals with the same legal principles backing them all, you will see some of the fighting between the groups and the anger and the angst go away, because at that point, there's no excuses. There's no problems. And if people choose to identify, you know, within their group, okay, I have no problem with that. I have no problem with any group that wants to take pride in themselves, so long as they're not doing it at the intent of harm or hate of others. I think that's natural. I think that's healthy. I think that's how you develop culture. I work at that up here to try to bring people together on that basis on bigger principles, and that has been the American dream and why we have been such a successful nation. And so, you know, rather than, I know a lot of people who are advocates in, how should I put this, in the white racial movement get caught up a lot in history and other distractions that are out there. I mean, we live in America, and whatever solution we come up with needs to fit the needs and desires of the American people and how we look at it in our own unique traditions. And so I don't know how it all works out yet, but that's what we're going to work on out of this. And you know, regardless of what happens, if I'm able to retain my job or if this is the transition to the next phase in my life, this is what I'm going to be fighting for. And I'm not fighting against anyone. I have no hatred. I have no desire to impose upon people. I just demand that, you know, people like me get a fair shake. And I think that's a basic American value that so many people can agree with, because, you know, we always hear the victim stories. And I don't want to paint white people as victims. I don't want to paint anyone as victims. But damn it, at some point you have to say, you know, we count too. And you can't just say, oh, if you say you're pro-white, that means you hate something. Why? How can you always say you're pro-black and you have BET and that's not racist, but if you're white, it's racist? It either has to be the same for everybody, we all get it, or none of us get it. I can live with either, but I would guess pretty strongly that it's going to develop in a way where each of us will have to do it for our own. And if we don't do it, then what will happen is we continue to be disadvantaged, and that's just wrong. Go ahead, Ghost.
Well, what I was going to ask is, I remember a time, and it wasn't that long ago, when race wasn't such a focal point in everyone's social construct. I mean, I remember back in the 70s and the 80s, comedy kind of made light, sitcoms kind of made light of the inherent prejudices that are amongst us all. I mean, I think that is the fundamental of the Bill of Rights and the freedom of speech and the freedom of expression, that you have the right to judge. I mean, that's what prejudice is to prejudge. And I've always said it on this broadcast that a group is defined by its majority. And right now, if you take a look at a lot of the majorities that encapsulate LGBTQ, the Black Lives Matter, La Raza Unida, I mean, they encapsulate the stereotypes that these folks insist do not exist amongst their own people. And moreover, I do want to also emphasize, where did we go wrong in this? I mean, how come everybody right off the bat is socially identifying with their race when, let's be honest, I mean, we're all Americana. And we all should assimilate to that. And what is Americana? It's capitalism, it's blue jeans, it's rock and roll, it's Christmas, you know, it's these types of things. It used to be family, two-parent families, that sort of thing. I mean, where did we go wrong when, back in the days, racial humor was championed and laughed at, to now you can't even say that it's okay to be white without being chastised as a racist or a Nazi, while at the same time there's a 10-year-old drag queen that is making a drag club for kids and a drag trans dating site for children. And if I chastise this as pedophilia, and if I say that this 10-year-old little pozhole's parent should be arrested, I'm a hater. I'm committing hate crimes all of a sudden. Where the hell did we go wrong? How is that in this modern world? We're supposed to be in 2018. How is it worse to say it's okay to be white as opposed to allowing a 10-year-old kid to not only identify as a drag queen, because, I mean, that within itself can be judged on whether or not that they're just a kid, they're playing dress-up, but no, opening up a drag show and being, quote, big in the LGBTQ community, and how come that is somehow normal, and saying being white is okay is racist? I mean, where did we go wrong here, man, in your perspective?
Well, there's a lot of things I can unpack from that, and I'll start with a short answer by saying that, it used to be the media in this country was locally controlled, so you had people, in their communities talking about their communities and making sure that they were saying things in line with the values of their communities, and so much of it's now centralized where the same sort of think tank actors are putting the same ideas out there and setting an agenda, let's be very honest, about what is and is not okay. And my own personal perspective on that agenda is that it is sort of anti-family, where, everything that I see, the commonality is to challenge putting the family at the center of Western life. And my thought on that is that the reason why the modern culture hates the family is because the family created a network where individuals could exist outside the demands and compulsions of the state. They want us atomized. They want us divided. And that goes back to the point you were making about, what happened where race became the big issue. I think when we look back really, even before that, but especially to the 60s, right? And we talk about LBJ and all the legislation passed, the Democrats had a choice at that point in time to make it about poverty or make it about race. And they sort of went down the line of making it about poverty, or excuse me, not poverty, about race. And what ended up happening was their search for power in the state became dependent upon dividing people and creating cultures of resentment, because it was more reliable to have voters come out on the basis that they were angry about something than the idea of mutual shared prosperity, because people who are prosperous do not want and do not like having the government involved. That's why America built up its original prosperity. It had very limited government, and it had a healthy civic society. And, one of the things that we've discovered over our many conversations over the years is that it's a two-part project, right? One part of it is the market and the ability for individuals to proceed in their own life and be successful because they have the options and possibilities to take their labor, talents, aptitudes, and convert them into capital in such a way where they can be successful and have greater security in their life. But the part of it that gets overlooked in the battle I've been fighting, which is admittedly much more opaque, is this cultural level battle where, we're asking, what do we need to get back? And maybe in a different time, had things worked out differently, race might not have been the issue it is today. But realistically, when the racial climate of America basically exists of one group who can't assert rights and every other group who asserts that any shortfalls on their part is because of the group that doesn't have rights, a dangerous imbalance is forming. And a white civil rights movement is the step in between that needs to happen to bring the system back into alignment. And within that, when I talk about white civil rights, I talk quite a bit about legal equality, but one of the issues that we need to deal with in our community is, what are we doing? Why isn't the family at the center? Why is it we value, to put it, wealth and status above, say, children and our future and our longevity? And we don't ask these things because we've sort of been pushed away from where the family is at the center of life. And I think that's really important. And I think that's one of the challenges, actually, to be honest with you, that, comes to the capitalist side, which is, capital is liberating, but at some point you don't want every value to become materialistic either. So we have to find this balance where people have the liberty of choice and to act, but where we keep the structures that kind of kept things going and gave us the networks where we didn't look to the state for all the answers. And when you stop looking for the state for answers, you stop giving state the ability to have control, then you don't have a situation like we have politically today, where one group is trying to constantly impose upon the other. And that's what I was doing with New Albion. We had a very simple thing, identity over ideology, because we wanted to get back to culture, because we realized that, there's this left view that you need to help people, and there's right view that you need people to be responsible. And you need both views, but the problem is in constantly trying to make the state the entity that does this. And it's just a huge mistake. And that's why I live in a small town, because the state doesn't give a damn about us, right? We're up here, we're just making it work. And we have problems and we have troubles, but I live in a beautiful, idyllic town where I don't have to lock my door at night. I don't have to worry about things. And so we can get past our financial struggles because we have good people trying to get along because we kind of agree on what we want. And when I talk about things like that, the media gets so mad at me because I'm saying that we have something that works here. Let's be careful about how we manage it and preserve that. And they don't like that because then you don't need them. And I think that's maybe the heart of the problem. What do you think?
No, I absolutely agree. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to post right now on my Gab is an article out of Maine exposing how a lot of these liberals are, once again, importing integration into Maine, and it's Muslim refugees. And much like you just said right now, Tom, that you live in a very good community. It's small. I mean, it's so small and it's so away from civilization that you can keep your doors open at night, and you appreciate the culture and the people that are within it, and you can negate the idea of class and stature, and everybody is in the same boat, so to speak. And what you are doing as a city manager is trying to build on that based upon the community that's already there, not incorporating new communities to supersede or overtake the current one that you currently live in. And you see, much like you were alluding to earlier when in your previous statements, that the left needs dependency. And because you guys out there are so independent and don't need anybody, especially under the conditions and the climate and all kinds of things that you've got against you out there, you still are prideful, you still wake up every day, you still go to work, you still make the community viable to live in. And this is really your point of emphasis. And what you were saying as it pertains, let's go back to the supposed controversial things that you're saying. You don't want anything to ruin that, especially forced integration from the state level or subsidized integration. And with that being said, I want to reemphasize what we said earlier. You have no problem with somebody who happens to be from New England, from New York, somebody that made a lot of money. They're trying to get away from the city, like an urban sprawl situation. They happen to be an ethnic minority, and they come in and they assimilate to the community. Because in the end, you all have a certain, and I hate to say it again, but a social contract amongst one another. The last thing that you want is to be like these German villages that were out there during the migrant invasion of 2015, being bombarded with immigrants that supersede your population. And I think that's a valid concern, and I think that what you're trying to prove is, hey, I don't want that here. And moreover, since you made the comments about Islam, we don't think that Islam will be compatible with our community social contract, nor should the federal government force them upon our community. So we have to readjust our social contract, much like the villages in Germany are right now. They can't even sell German sausages anymore in some of these villages. They can't even sell German beer anymore because now they're reverting to Sharia because there's more migrant Islamic fundamentalists in these regions of Germany than actual Germans themselves.
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And, you know, the more direct way of putting what the attack is that we're not allowed to make judgments, right? We're not allowed to say one belief system is better than another. And the way they like to frame the argument is they say that, you know, legally you cannot discriminate between different people's beliefs. And that's true. You have to permit people who have the right to disagree with you. But it doesn't mean that you have to just sit there passively and have no opinion about it. And that's what I think has gotten lost in this, that, as you said, there is a degree of a social contract. And, and that I think it's incredibly important that we talk about that because we've stopped talking about that, and there are things that just don't necessarily overlap well. And the thing that bothers me about that specifically is it's not like we're having an open conversation and that's what's determining, you know, that we've selected these values. What we have are a few gatekeepers who are out there, you know, who are running these systems, and they're making those determinations for us and using the ability to silence dissent to prevent people from offering alternative opinions. And I'm just the flavor of weak in that battle. And I don't think anyone should support that. You know, and I think that's where it's at, that we need to stand up and speak out against that sort of free speech suppression. And if we do that,
let me ask you,
successful.
Let me ask you, I know that since this story broke and you've been all over the mainstream media, can you describe the kind of reaction that you've had from Antifa? I know you described it earlier, but, I mean, this is serious business. It went from one day to the next, and lo and behold, Antifa is showing up at your small town in Jackman, Maine, posting posters all over the place, demonizing you, calling you a Nazi. Of course, you talked about the concerted effort of everybody calling businesses within your local community, calling you a Nazi, calling you a white separatist, a supremacist. I know I've talked to your wife. She's very fearful right now. Can you describe what you're feeling right now just for saying words?
Well, I mean, I personally am not afraid, but my wife has been afraid because it is intimidating. I mean, imagine this. And it's really hard to explain if you've never lived it because it's just so different. You're just living your life, doing whatever it is you do, you know, relative anonymity, and then someone decides to say something about you. And it's not true. They take a word you say or something you say and spin it in the worst possible context. And then before you know it, not only are a few people saying that about you, then you have a couple stories about you. Then you have a state. Then you have a whole nation. And no matter who you talk to, you have these waves of the same lies thrown at you again and again. And no matter how many times you try to say something different, you get suppressed. And it's so overwhelming that if you are not completely rooted in your principles or in some greater sense of faith or something that allows you to fight this, you give up and you get hopeless and you go to despair and you know, people look at you and you're in this situation and they say, you know what, I'm never going to say anything publicly under my name. I can't risk it. I can't risk not being able to provide for my family. I can't risk, you know, having to lose my house or not pay my mortgage payment. And what happens before long is you have this culture that has nothing but lies and deceit because everyone's too afraid to say what they really think because there's a few people out there who know how to push just the right buttons to make people give up and forget who they are. You know, I see it in my town where people, they just don't want the attention. They'll be whatever it takes to go away. And so many of the people up here who, you know, there are people who support me and people who oppose me, and they have their own opinions, and some of them have it based on facts, and some of them have it based on this narrative. But at the end of the day, a lot of the people who would say, oh, Tom will have to leave, are doing so because they just don't want that pressure on them. And it is a very hard thing to resist. And the one thing I never understood for spending a lot of years in politics is that when you see this pressure all arrayed against you, it is astounding how quickly it moves, how united it is in message, and whether you think it's because they all work together, that they have someone, controlling it, or they just have the same ideology of it, they come and it is incredibly destructive. It's destructive to a community. And, up here, people are worried because, it's a town that survives on tourism, and they're thinking, hey, if we don't throw this guy out, we're not going to have the ability to survive. But it's ironic because the people who are pushing this to get me kicked out are the people who would never come up here and who would be disparaging by and large. The people who actually are sort of independent and understand that maybe could understand that what I'm doing is actually in defense of them. And people have asked me, and it's a very fair question, as a public servant, why I was willing to go out there and say controversial things, knowing that these consequences might ensue. I did so because if you can't defend these foundational principles, that people deserve respect as they are, that every group is worthy of dignity, including whites, that you realistically can't have a successful future because you're treated as a lesser citizen. And that's why I did what I did. And maybe my expression, in the search for knowledge, we often say things that aren't the greatest phrasing. I mean, I'd be the first to concede that. And when you're asking hard questions, you're going to say things inarticulately at times. And I've done that. And I've been glib and I've been sarcastic. And maybe that's, I'm told that's not allowed, but I just don't accept that. And if the price that I have to pay is the end of my public sector career for being an honest man who's willing to talk about things, well, that's okay because someone needed to do it. And if we have a system where the only people who can be involved in public service are bootlickers and people who give up thinking, well, we got bigger problems as a country. And, and maybe that's why I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, because I have those fears and I look at it that way. And maybe I'm on the outside in some ways. But that was kind of why it worked in America, because you had people who had different views who could live in different places. States used to have real power, not just the federal government. And, here in Maine, we do things differently than you do down in Texas. And there's some things we do you would hate, and there's some things you do we would hate. But until the federal government decides we both have to do something one way, well, we got along pretty good. And we did some pretty good job ass-kicking together a couple times. And it makes me wonder why we can't get back to that. But this one-size-fits-all crap just isn't going to work. And so, but they don't want that, see, because at the end of the day, there's a group of people out there who are obsessed with control, okay? And whatever group you want to call them, whoever you think they constitute, I will tell you, the media is a big part of it, and they force conformity. They have certain control in academia. There's just an agenda there that needs to be understood and opposed, and I support all those people who are going out there and asking those questions. That's a fight that needs to happen, and I'm glad people ask those questions. The fight I'm taking, though, is a simpler one, and it's just to move that window just a little bit where I can say, because of the position I'm in and what I've suffered, that, we deserve respect, and whatever the system's going to be, that we demand white people get the fair shake in it. And as a person, I am going to assert my right to make judgments, to be discriminatory, not in the legal sense, but in the sense that I'm going to say if I think an idea is better than another idea, and use the powers of persuasion and demonstration to convince people how to do things better. That's what I was doing as town manager, figuring out ways to live in accordance with the lifestyle the people here believe, not compelling anyone elsewhere, not forcing anyone, not excluding anyone, because everyone's coming to me and asking me, what do you do if you want these people in their community? I live 200 miles from the middle of nowhere where people just live here because they like that. They made that choice. and they live how they live, and I was protecting them, and I've continued protecting them. And even if I end up gone tomorrow, I will still be protecting what it was about, because I understood when I came here what I was doing. And I was trying, and I am trying to live this deliberate life. And there's a huge social consequence to it. It's enormous, because if you're someone who says, I am a sovereign citizen, and I'm going to live according to my principles, whether you're a capitalist entrepreneur who's out there, starting your own business, putting risk and putting your own sweat equity, or you're someone like me standing against, the tide of history, then you're going to face that same challenge. But that's what makes America great, that we have people willing to do that. And if there's one thing I hope out of this, is that more people are encouraged to show the gumption to pursue their own beliefs and to defend them vigorously. Even if they disagree totally with what I'm saying, if they can do it respectfully and with integrity and with the power of their own convictions in a way that's logical and accessible, we will become a better country. Because this whole culture where we are not allowed to talk, and more importantly, we are not allowed to think without being told your life will be stolen from you, is a load of horse shit.
I can agree with that, man. I mean, a lot of people are afraid to speak up their political persuasion because they're afraid of the repercussions, because they're afraid of the retribution. I mean, now you've got leftists utilizing tactics of life terrorism, to calling your employer, calling your landlord, calling everything, to telling everybody, oh, he's a Nazi, or he's this, or he's anti-that, he's anti... I mean, that's just wrong. I mean, that's just anti-American any way you look at it. I mean, you haven't hurt anybody. Moreover, if anything, I think the majority of the people out there in Jackman, Maine, can attest to the fact that you're probably a very hard worker at what you do. I know for a fact that you dedicate your life to it. What I don't understand is what's the end game? I mean, we get what these leftists are trying to do. We get that there's obviously some kind of a concerted, paid effort in an attempt to try to perpetuate this narrative of Nazis everywhere, not Nazis here, Nazis there. What's the end game? I mean, the only end game that I can surmise is collectivization. It's the idea of the centralization of power and the relinquishing of the individual freedom, choice, and decision to the state. And moreover, not only what's the end game, but what do you feel about some of these people that are claiming to be alt-right, white nationalists, and they're pushing socialism as a adherent to both of these political persuasions and calling it right-wing? And, if the alt-right and the white nationalists are, touting socialism, and Antifa's touting socialism, what kind of a game are we playing? And not to mention, one more thing, I find it rather convenient that these alt-right white nationalist guys are always media fodder for the leftists so that they can highlight once again how dangerous of a Nazi situation, supposed Nazi situation, we have here in America, and the more reason why innocent people like you and your voice need to be suppressed. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, there's a lot there. I'll answer this by talking about how I look at the question, rather than talking about and trying to characterize how others look at it, because they can defend their own beliefs. What I think you need to do is look at the question more from how you meet the needs of who you're trying to serve. And rather than always coming in with a pre-built system, which, to me is a sort of like almost Marxist way of looking at things, that you look at it in terms of who you're trying to help. And over the course of my lifetime, I started out as a libertarian, which is kind of a simplistic way in some ways of looking at things, because you're just saying, well, you have an idea, but people are messy. So over time, it evolved to where I looked at people and groups of ideas, and what you should be asking, rather than trying to, LARP your way through history, is finding a way to legitimately move the efforts of whatever group you want to help to achieve a better life, right? And to achieve more fulfillment within their life. And using compulsive force to get there has an incredibly poor track record over time. So I think it's right to ask questions about that. I mean, I am someone who understands there are times where it makes sense for the state to get involved, obviously as being someone involved with the state, but generally I think we should be less prone to do that rather than more prone. So when I look at people who are in the movement, one of the frustrations I have is that there's a lot of talk on high-level principle, but there's not a lot of pragmatic planning about how to make a difference at the level on the ground. And whatever else is true, I was making a difference in a community. And I've been making a difference in northern New England. You know, my New Albion group, you know, in terms of promoting a Western culture, you know, and having an organization that has respect for people of all identities, including whites, has been growing. And I will tell you, it's getting a huge boost from this. And I think the basic model is something that can be used as high as to the full American level, which is that if you have respect for everyone, but you build it on our sort of foundational Western ethos, we can be successful. And, you know, I get the many debates between civic nationalists and ethnic nationalists and all of the questions that are out there, and they're interesting theoretical debates. But in the reality of the people who are here in America, I think we need to understand that the vast majority of Americans think and feel that, you know, we deserve to be treated with respect and individual, you know, considering the needs of the individual, and that's a precious foundation that we should use as an asset rather than as something to be destroyed. And that freedom, if we are allowed to express it, can be the foundation for cultures that would see the betterment of all races and all ethnic groups within this country. I mean, it's interesting, you know, people talk about race a lot, and if we look at America, you know, blacks do better here than anywhere else in the world, and so do whites in a very real way. So there's something there that can work where we can still have independent identities and figure out ways to make this all work. You know, and like I said, I mean, in terms of how the alt-right looks at things, I think they have good insight in the sense we need to get beyond ideology and think about things from different prisms, like identity, and I put culture at the heart of that, and seeing that, you know, that's something we should look at. But the idea that we would try to recreate the failed systems of the 1940s in a country that honestly isn't well suited to them seems incredibly destructive. And as you said, you know, a lot of the leaders of the movement, so to say, in some of the things that they say, I think do more harm than good, because they make it so that average people are ashamed to follow them. And no matter how brilliant your system is, the reality of politics, which I understand really well living it on a daily basis, is you can't lead where people won't follow. And so, you know, when I look at these things and, you know, I look at different groups, I think, how can we develop something that's the best system we can achieve with the people we have in the environment that exists? And that's hard, and you know, people have debates about that, but honestly, if it's all talk and abstract bullshit, then that's fine, but you really shouldn't be the leaders out there. You should be philosophers sitting out there somewhere, and let people, honestly, more like myself, who are willing to take the bullets and go on the front lines, do it, because at least we're getting somewhere. And whatever else comes out of this, you know, I am trying incredibly hard to figure out, based upon what people are telling me they want, you know, the process that we cherish here of individual choice, how to get us to a better solution and to at least a better point in the discussion where we can break apart the system that's oppressing all of us who share alternative ideas.
And you know what, Tom, I'm going to go ahead and end it here with with 5 bullet questions, okay? Because you've been a great guest, and I really appreciate you giving us the time and the opportunity to hear your perspective. We've gotten a lot of people from across the internet listening in. The numbers are high, so I hope that people that have read your story, Tom Kawczynski, town manager of Jackman, Maine, understand that. Let's just go ahead and go with the shotgun questions. Are you a Nazi?
No.
Are you a white separatist?
No.
Are you an absolute unadulterated racist?
No.
So right there, right off the bat, we have those questions already answered, and everything that's being said in the media about this man, Tom Kawczynski, is pure libel and slanderous, and they are nitpicking and interpreting what they believe is Nazism, is white supremacy, is white separatism, whatever they're trying to interpret. This is nothing more than fake news, and that's one thing I do want to emphasize about Tom Kawczynski and his story, is that this is the epitome of fake news. And as you all heard from Tom, him giving his perspective, him articulating his grievances, he is basically telling you that all he did was practice his First Amendment rights and basically saying he wants to preserve the European heritage in New England. And the only thing that I believe, and Tom, you can go ahead and finish off with this, the only thing I believe that triggered the leftist media and Antifa and the communists and the socialists and whatever concerted group effort that is now targeting you in their crosshairs is the Islam thing. And I think that we can end with your comments about Islam. I'm going to give you mine so that just in case anybody thinks that, he's the only one that thinks this, that is malarkey. All right, we have had enough testing of Islam integrating itself into Western civilization to surmise that they don't want Western civilization. I mean, some of the biggest terrorists that are now conducting themselves in suicide bombings, these running over of people in Europe, actually are born in European Western nations. So this idea that you can integrate Islam into Western civilization and that Islam itself will just adapt and will just kind of be a part of Western civilization is a moot point given all the examples, especially here within the past 3 to 4 years. All the terrorist examples of individual terrorists that are not from the country of terrorist origin. They're from England. They're from Belgium. You know, these people were born there. These people were born in Europe, and now they are conducting themselves in suicide terror in the country that accepted them and embraced them and gave them a life. Now, I'd like for you to go ahead and say your perspective, and we'll end that there, Tom, but I know as well as you know, that Islam has a serious problem, and I like the fact that you've got Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, attempting to secularize the extremist Wahhabist Sunni Muslim faction of the entire Islamic community, because something needs to be done from the internal so that this whacked out fundamentalist ideology of jihad starts coming to an end. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, as I said, I have issues with Islam because of how it does not share the same foundation of individual human rights that we share in the West. When Muslims adhere to that, they fit along perfectly, and that's their right. Their freedom of religion is guaranteed, and I think that there is at least the appearances of a reform movement in Saudi Arabia. The whispers of uprisings in Shiite Iran. I hope very much that Islam gets the reformation it needs to exist more peacefully within the modern world, as most Muslims do. And this is important. I am not saying and have never said Muslims are bad people. People are people. But there's a difference between that and judging an idea and saying, do you think it is as adapted or not adapted to an area and to a group of people, and to have those conversations. And that's all I'm asserting as far as that goes. And, if you want sometime, I'm sure you and I can get into a lot more detail, and I would enjoy that opportunity. The other thing I wanted to say before we close up, because I can see we're running toward the end of the hour here, is that I want to thank all the people of Jackman for their patience, their support, for taking my wife and myself in and making us feel at home. Whatever happens, I can honestly say we have never been happier or more at peace than we have been in this town, and we will always love you for that. To the many people who've been supporting us, who've been incredibly helpful, we thank you. If you follow along at newalbion.org, I'll be posting some updates. We may be doing a fundraiser because, being honest doesn't pay, but it pays in other ways, which I'm okay with. A couple quick shout-outs to the Inner Circle for their support, to, got to respect your roots, being a Polak and all that. So, all understand that, I'm sure. And to you, Ghost, for giving me a platform and the opportunity to put my side of the story out there, and to all the people listening who agree or don't agree, I just ask you to consider this. When you read, one story recycled and 30 words about a man, you think you know something because you trust who tells you. But remember, how a story's framed isn't the full truth of it. And whether you agree or disagree with me, I want you to understand that what I'm talking about is a reasonable position, and that I have been a reasonable person and a caring person, and a person whose sin, if there was one, was caring too much and trying to do too much. And if I'm being punished for that, well, just imagine what sort of world we would live in if we as Americans decided every time someone tried to strive to accomplish something that they would suffer some horrible consequence just because a group of people out there decide we're going to take something you say and destroy your life with it. I know people who've had that experience. It makes you tougher to fight through it, and we all experience adversity, but it isn't the way it should be, and I hope you will consider standing with me, with Dana, and with all of us as we work together to try to, make sure that this doesn't happen anymore, that we stop the culture of political intimidation, and, that we support civil rights for all Americans, including the right for white people to be judged on the same merits as anyone else in America. Thank you very much, Ghost.
Hey, thank you, Tom. And where can they find you, man? Website, Gab address, anything else you want to let anybody know that they want to get in contact with you?
Sure, thank you. Yeah, Gab is my preferred social media because they do not censor you. So if you go to Tom Kawczynski, you'll see the spelling on whatever app you have there, KAWCZYNSKI. I welcome that. newalbion.org. I do writing there. And you'll be seeing some other things emerge. I had a GoFundMe up, but because I didn't fit their terms and conditions, I got shut down. So not only did they try to prevent me from speaking, they tried to prevent me from even sustaining myself. And that was a little bit bitter, but that's unfortunately what so much of even social media is about, the silencing of dissent. So whenever you have shows like True Capitalist Radio, an excellent program that, even if it's edgy and controversial, is actually willing to talk about issues, it's something to cherish. And that's why I appreciate the opportunity. And I hope to, if any of you want to reach out to me, I'm extremely accessible, and I look forward to those conversations, especially as as probably one career ends and another one begins.
Hey, Tom, thank you very much, man. Once again, I thank you for giving us the exclusive. I thank you for being a part of the Inner Circle. I thank you for being a friend, a great mind, somebody who I appreciate debating with for hours. And I definitely want to tell you and wish you good luck. I don't think that you should. I don't think you deserve to lose your job. I know that you cared about this job very much. I knew you way before you got the job. You actually consulted with me a little bit about the job, and you did it. And you went out there and you went full throttle, and you didn't have to, man. You literally kind of rearranged your life because you wanted to get away from, modern civilization, because modern civilization is taking a turn for, who the hell knows? I don't even want to call it weird anymore, because at least weird had some yardstick. Beyond comprehension. And it seems that the mainstream media and the leftists and the Antifas and everybody, they found you, And I just wanted to give you the fair shake of articulating your grievances and letting everybody know that you're not a white supremacist, you're not a white separatist, you're not a Nazi, you're just a white civil rights activist. And I think that's an appropriate application for you, and I thank you once again.
Thank you, Ghost. Have a good evening.
Thank you. You do the same. Now, that was a great, great interview, to say the least. Once again, I hope everybody who is listening in understands that nowadays you can be chastised for saying simple words. And I have to give it to Tom for standing up and not yielding to the pressure, because it's a lot of pressure. I've talked to Tom. I've talked to his wife. I mean, going through a media whirlwind like that is rather stressful, to say the least. Moreover, they have found Antifa in their hometown, plastering all kinds of banners, saying all kinds of nasty things about him, his wife. You've got people harassing the businesses of Jackman, Maine, saying that Tom's a Nazi, Tom's this, Tom's that, and that is not what he is. All right? The man is proud of his heritage. He promotes the preservation of the European heritage within New England. And you heard from him right from his own mouth that this man can live with anybody, he can converse with anybody, but what he doesn't want is what happened to the European Union, what happened to Germany, what's happening to Sweden, what's happening to France. There should be no way and no reason why any immigrants should supersede or overpopulate a given city, a given town, a given village, than the natural-born population, than the citizens that actually were born there. And you see, folks, the reason they're doing this, and let's be honest, it's communism. They are trying to centralize power in a globalist sense. That's why the EU allowed the influx of millions of migrants, because what is the EU trying to do? They're trying to eliminate and erase the memory of the nation states that comprise the EU. All the nation states, they want to eliminate those identities. And what better way to eliminate those identities than to influx millions of wild Yehudis from battle-hardened areas of the Middle East and put them into a society of a bunch of Euro-cuck socialists. And lo and behold, folks, look at what's happening. They're raping their women. They're pillaging the villages. They're rearranging the social constructs and the social contracts of those countries. You got Sharia law in some of these areas in Germany and Sweden. I mean, wake up, folks. This is why President Trump is making a big issue when it comes to this immigration policy. That's why we don't want chain migration. We don't want a lottery system. We need a border wall. And moreover, folks, the last thing we need is a bunch of anti-American Democrats showing their true colors and shutting down the government because they favor illegal immigrants more than American citizens. And every one of you people that are Democrats out there, you're anti-American scum. How dare you people sit here and supersede the importance of this country's citizens to people who came in here illegally? How dare you, anti-American trash? There's no other way around it. There's no other way to interpret it. You're anti-American trash, Democrats. With this action of the government shutdown, you have proven that you could care less about the American people. And that's why I'm telling you, folks, this trash, this swamp in Washington, D.C., we need to keep our eye on it, and we need to elect these power-hungry bureaucrats that do nothing but sell us out as people, nothing but sell us out as taxpayers, nothing but sell us out in general. And we have to thank God, folks, that Donald Trump is the president of the United States, because had this man not been the president, we'd all be living in worse squalor than we were during the Obama administration. I mean, look at the Make America Great Again economic policy. Look at the lowest unemployment rates for all groups. Look at all the economic productivity. Look at all the bonuses that are being given out. I'm telling you, folks, next month you're going to be seeing more money in your paychecks. And it's your money. It's not the government's money. That's what you people need to understand, is that the government is forcing you to pay it. And for all those folks that are out there working for a living, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're cleaning enema bags for a living. I don't care if you're cleaning the leftover secretions at an adult theater from the floor. I don't care what you do. If you're working and you're making money and you're paying taxes, then you own these little people in Washington. We own these little people. They belong to us. And it's time for us as capitalists to rise up and start demanding our respect in Washington, D.C. And the first thing we did as capitalists is put in a new president. By God, what did I tell you in 2016 and 2017? I told you that the election of Donald Trump was a capitalist revolution. And that's the way it is, folks. Any one of you Democrats, any one of you liberals, any one of you leftists, I challenge you. Why don't you give me one thing that this president has passed into law that you don't like? And you know what? They're not going to be able to tell you. Because everything that this president has passed into law has been pro-America. Has been pro-America. So anybody who doesn't like Trump is an anti-American trash. Anybody who's a Democrat is anti-American trash. And I'm not just saying that. Their actions speak louder than my words, folks. The Democrats' actions speak louder than my words. They shut down the entire United States government for a group of people that are in this country illegally. And if you are supporting that as a Democrat, then you're anti-American scum, and you should get the hell out of my country. Get out of here. Go to Venezuela. Go to damn North Korea, you socialist communist scum. Get out of here. Jesus Christ, get the hell out of here. We don't want you. We don't need you. Piece of crap. Don't you ever forget this, folks. The Democrats showed that they are anti-American and that American citizens don't mean shit. Excuse my French. This is what the Democrats showed with this government shutdown. That the American people ain't shit compared to a bunch of illegal immigrants who came into this country illegally. That's what they did. That's why they shut down this government. And we should all spit in their goddamn faces. Do you understand that? If we see a goddamn Democrat who sat here and smiled at us like that stupid Charles kicked the American people in the balls Schumer, you just spit in those people's faces because they aren't representing us. They don't care about the American people. Their actions of shutting down the government for illegal immigrants proves they don't care about Americans. It proves that Democrats are anti-American. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I was going to talk about how Turkey is bombing Syria and how Turkey and Russia are down and they're their allies and how Russia aided Bashar al-Assad to keep this country. The Russians have pulled out their military assets out of Syria, and now you've got Turkey coming into northern Syria and bombing the Kurds, which of course are backed by the United States.
Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Bashar al-Assad had to go, and he must be removed. So it seems as if Erdogan is making a move towards northern Syria. Now, folks, if you go back in the archive, blogtalkradio.com/ghost is the archive. Go back to July 2016, the Sunday after the coup in Turkey. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. I said that Erdogan, because he threw this fake coup on himself, which was quarterbacked by Russia, because that's what Putin did. That's how Putin took over Russia. That he was going to start incrementally invading into northern Syria, invading into northern Iraq in an attempt to try to get as much geopolitical territory necessary to recreate the Ottoman Empire. And folks, take a look at what Erdogan's doing now. Prognosticator of prognosticators, baby. I'm just saying. I know international relations. I'm just saying. Anyway, last but not least, Donald Trump, President Trump, going to Davos at the World Economic Forum, and I cannot wait for him to speak at Davos so he can rub it in the goddamn globalist banksters' faces that we're making America great again. And we're not letting you disgusting internationalists fleece the American tax system any longer. And we're going to utilize the American spirit, the American innovation, the American creativity to be the bastion of capitalism like we once were again. And if you think it's going to take us a long time, this world has got another thing coming. You give us a couple of years. Hell, even this year you're going to see the difference. We're going to make America the bastions of capitalism again, as opposed to what Obama did to America, made us the bastards of the world. So I can't wait for my president, Donald Trump, to rub it in these Davos, Switzerland faces, baby. All right? Anyway, we had a great show. I appreciate, once again, Tom Kawczynski, a member of the Inner Circle. What did I tell you about my Inner Circle, baby? We're not just making money moves, we're making political moves. You understand? We're a digital secret society, I'm just saying. Anyway, now that we've got that all out of the way, let's just go ahead and get to everybody's favorite part of the broadcast. Let's just go ahead and do it. I didn't know if I was going to do it, but let's just go ahead and do it. And I'm talking about Radio Graffiti! That's right, folks. Radio Graffiti, the part of the broadcast where the spectators become a part of the spectacle. All you've got to do is give me a call right now. All right, 516-453-9903. And when I call on your area code, you've got exactly 3 to 4 seconds to say whatever it is that's on your mind. That's why we call this Radio Graffiti, all right? So without any further ado, hey, engineer, do we got any goddamn Radio Graffiti calls to be had, man? All right, well, let's go ahead and get to some Radio Graffiti calls right now. And once again, folks, if you're just new to the broadcast, this is a fair warning. I mean, these people that call into Radio Graffiti are a bunch of sick, twisted, idiotic, troll terrorists, cybervermin, perverts. All right, I'm just saying, that's all they are. So if you get a little shocked, it's not my fault. It's these losers, all right? Anyway, let's go ahead and take some Radio Graffiti calls. How about 704 Radio Graffiti? Hey, turn that down, asshole. You're blowing everybody's ears off. Good God, anonymous Radio Graffiti.
Of course you idiots in Oklahoma would be utilizing Templeton.
Wait a minute, did you just make the Oklahoma theme with my dog's bark, you son of a bitch? Yeah, you see what I'm saying, folks? This is the kind of crap that you're going to take if you happen to have some kind of a broadcast on the internet, for Christ's sake, man. Leave my dog alone. And screw the Oklahoma Sooners, boy. It's Texas Longhorns, baby. Texas Longhorns right up your ass. Give me the mic. Give me the mic. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This is what I'm talking. This is the internet's. This is the internet's. What you're hearing right here. This is the goddamn internet's. 352 Radio Graffiti.
This is Dial a Hembo. Call 1-900-HEMBO. Dial a Hembo. If you
you're having a bad day, it's about to get worse. There's a man called Ghost, and he's ready to burn. When you call him up, take Crypto's card. He's gonna let you know that you're just a tard. So get him, Ghostler. $1 per minute, $2 first minute. Target parents' permission. 1-900-HEMBO. Call up now and you'll never be the same again. Dial a Hembo.
Are you all making fun of my damn hotline, you piece of crap? Son of a bitch! I wish this was your face! I wish this was your goddamn face! Don't make fun of my hotline! Look, I'm not giving out my hotline today, alright? As a matter of fact, I'm not giving out my hotline on this broadcast. I'm gonna give it out on Ghost.Report. I don't need you trolls calling me at all hours of the night doing this kind of crap. I don't need that crap. Get him out! I'm not giving out my damn hotline because this is the last thing I need is a bunch of troll terrorists and cyber vermin making it a big joke, all right? It's a cryptocurrency hotline, man! It's serious business! But of course you trolls wouldn't know nothing about that, for Christ's sake, because you're too busy living under your mama's skirt. Huh? Stupid. Teeth-sucking, pieces of nipple-clamp-loving, butt-plug-up-the-ass-looking, pansexual, Peter-puffing, gender-fluid fondling, piece of rusty trombone-playing, dirty Sanchez-loving, chicken-eating cornboy crap! Jesus Christ. Let's take a couple more calls here. This is obviously, it's taking a turn for the worse, obviously, right? Jesus Christ. 862 Radio Graffiti.
Knickers.
Hey, you're taking too long. And stop being racist, asshole. Don't you dare be racist. 412 Radio Graffiti.
Brazil. An evangelical pastor having his faithful.
We can't even understand you because you're Obama phone, for Christ's sake. Can we please turn off all these Obama phones by now, boy? Anonymous Radio Graffiti. Scarlet Moon Radio Graffiti.
Hey, out my nickel. Hey, out my nickel. Hey, out my nickel. You brute. Out my. Hey, out my nickel. Hey, out my nickel. Hey,
all right, you stupid idiot. Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Freaking pausing neg holes out here. Shut up! All right, I'm writing that song. I'm writing that song as we speak, for Christ's sake, man. I'm writing it. Here, look, let me go ahead and put it on. Let me put it on. Let me show you I'm writing it. You people think I'm lying. You people think that I'm saying this like a bunch of malarkey. Look, here it is right here. Let's go ahead and put it on, engineer. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole, you fruit bowl. Hey. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole, you fruit bowl, yeah. Why do you want to pause my neg hole? Haven't you done enough damage with your pause hole? Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole. Hey, pause hole, don't pause my neg hole, you fruit bowl, yeah. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. All right, that's all you're getting, for Christ's sake. So don't make a gay club sounding version of it there, boy. Do you understand that? Don't make a gay club sounding version of it, boy. Do you understand that? Freaking pause holes out here, man. Is that all we have calling up here? A bunch of damn pause holes? Jesus Christ. Take about 10 steps away from my freaking butt crack with all this pothole talk, boy. Anyway, who else do we have here? 256 Radio Graffiti. Seriously, Samsung. Radio Graffiti. Money grows on trees. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Money grows on... No, money doesn't grow on trees, you idiot. What the hell does that mean? Money grows on trees. Money grows, money grows, money grows, money grows.
That's racist.
Wow. And you called yourself a melting pot of friendship.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
Hey, shut up! I'm not a racist, you bastard! You made me say that! You bastards made me say that racist crap! Ah! You terrorist cyber vermin sons of bitches! You made me say that racist crap! I didn't know what the hell that meant! How the hell was I supposed to know? How the hell was I supposed to know, for Christ's sake, man? You goddamn troll terrorist bastards, man. I hate dealing with Radio Graffiti. Give me the mic! Yeah, this show turned from a serious show to a carpet-munching Monday because of these goddamn aspie autist tards that are out here trying to make my life a living hell! Jesus Christ, man, I'm so pissed off. I'm pissed! Don't you understand me? I'm pissed off! Jesus Christ. 856 Radio Graffiti.
Hey, Ghost, this is Trumpin. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, what's up? Trumpin?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Not much. I was listening to an interview with you and Tom. Really good interview. I just want to say a couple of things about that interview. And I also want to give a defense for Tom because I know him. If I can.
Okay. I don't know. Pizzagate? I don't know what the hell you just said. 713 Radio Graffiti. We got the pet Mexican Radio Graffiti. Getting that. And when I picked up the spicy chicken, it said on the billboard, best chicken giblets and livers in town. What I thought was a great, chicken dinner. Unfortunately, folks, when I got in the toilet, it was a completely different story, for Christ's sake. Uh-oh. Poo-poo.
The very next day, Ghost's toilet was finally laid to rest.
What the hell was that shit? Son of a bitch! What the hell was that, man? You sick, disgusting pervert! I told you these goddamn troll terrorists and cyber murder were a bunch of perverts! I told you! They're sick! They're freaking sick! Give me the goddamn... Freaking goddamn it. I'm glad there's only 2 goddamn minutes left in this freaking broadcast, man. This was a great show until I started taking calls from the internet losers of America. God damn it. 352 Radio Graffiti. We've got pylons, Radio Graffiti.
I heard your dad
Ghost
went into a restaurant and ate everything in the restaurant, and they had to close the restaurant. Hey, my dad may have gained a little weight, but he's not some kind of food crazy.
Ham bone. Oh, man, cupcakes. Yeah, shut up, you stupid idiot. I'm not a freaking ham bone. Shut up! I'm not a freaking ham bone. 858 Radio Graffiti. What are you, freaking just sitting there playing with your pecker shaft, for Christ's sake? Say something, you stupid moron! 269 Radio Graffiti.
I'm Ghost City. I can't wait to whack off to your hot, sexy voice and your sexy...
No, shut that guy up! I thought we got rid of that scumbag! Get him out of here! Get that stupid internet butt stalker! I thought we got rid of that guy years ago! Why is he coming back? Well, I'm not ending with that crap, that sick, twisted internet butt stalker pervert. I'm not ending like that. I'm not ending with you sack of crap! 614 Radio Goddamn Graffiti!
Ghost, does your sex line accept Tron and Doge? Butt stalker and I want you all night. Oh my.
Not you! God damn it! God damn it! I mean, I'm trying to make a serious show, and it's you internet trolls, you just make me sick! You make me sick! Damn it! You all make me sick, man! I'm tired of this crap! My show is serious business, and I'm tired of you trolls not taking it serious! I'm tired of you trolls not taking it serious! I'm freaking tired, I'm tired of you pieces of troll terrorist crap! I hate you!
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, well guys, that is the show. Let me just exit this out. That is better. I do apologize if you hear some bass going on in the background. Of course, someone's doing some bass guitaring practice next door in the room, in the living room. I don't know why he's actually practicing at this hour, but of course, that is the True Capitalist Radio Show of episode 535 right here on the BNs, and I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. Yes, the majority of the tonight's show has been the interview of can I say this right again? Tom Wazowski's because I know it's Wazowski's. So yes, Tom Wazowski's actually got the interview with Ghost, and of course that was actually a pretty good interview. Very good interview indeed. And to be honest, I actually enjoyed every bit of it. And of course, I would agree much on Tom of what he was saying, man. I mean, like, you can agree or disagree with him, but hey, he had pointed out some things out for everybody to actually, just take a listen, understand what he's really meant about, I wouldn't say much about this, but of course, you know what I'm getting at. But yes, guys, it is. Oh, it's Tom Wazowski's. Thank you for that. It's Tom Wazowski. Like Wazowski. Yeah, I can actually take that because it Wazowski, Monster Inc. Yeah, thank you for that. Anyways, guys. So yes, tonight's show was majority of the interview. Yes, you guys had Gab Shout Outs and Radio Graffiti, so good job on you guys. So yes, today's show was serious, all that. So of course, you didn't hear all the political things there during the second and third hour normally, but it was a good interview, and I really want to say thanks, Tom, for the interview. And really was interesting. Hopefully everybody will take that. And of course, maybe probably will you stay safe, my friend, because of course it's tough that of course being attacked by a bunch of these antifas, these anti-white nationalists, they call them. They just pretty much attacking this poor guy of him being a town's manager. I mean, like, that's actually pretty cool, and not to mention being in a rural area. Sorry if I'm actually a little bit off site here, because of course I'm a little bit tired, but kind of sucks, to be honest. I mean, he's Tom's is doing his best on living the American dream, and then all of a sudden all the fake news just pretty much saying slanderous lies on Tom now about him being a white racist or white this. So I'll be like, what? I just don't get it, really. I mean, racism in this country is really getting very overboard at this point. It should never really be discussed, to be honest, and really, it's just pointless. A majority of it. I just can't believe that. Of course, why would they attack just a small town's manager off of Jackman, Maine? If you want to know where that is, just look it up. But just to really attack them, just pretty much pointing at him being racist or somewhat being, but of course he's not, and of course he's been giving points of really good points, of course, what really is, but I mean, like, I really can't say, really, I mean, like, really can't say. Oh, and for you, Tom, hopefully, like I say, you and Snow White will stay peace, and hopefully nothing bad would happen to you. So my thoughts to you, man, just stay safe and hope for the best. That of course, this could blow over, but of course, we'll just see how it goes now after this. Anyways, once again, guys, like I said, I got a person next door actually playing the bass guitar, because of course I don't know why he's playing bass guitar at the 9:30. God dang it! It's just, come on, just go to sleep. It's about to be 10 o'clock. Go to bed. Jesus, just turn down the goddamn bass guitar. I just want to go down up there and just say it loud, man. Turn off the goddamn guitar. Jesus. Just let him practice. Alright. Anyways, guys, let me get some shoutouts right now. Once again, I do apologize for the person playing next door. I can't say who he is because, of course, it's just one of the folks living in the house. So let me give some shoutouts here, and and just complete, because of course I'm doing another broadcast at the moment. So if you want to shout outs, just be present on the YouTubes or side tubes at the current moment. But before that, I'm actually doing some special shout outs right now. So special shout outs right now is I'm looking at the person who actually are new subscribers or new donators. Oh, before I say anything, that if you're new to the live stream broadcast or the on this live stream feed you're watching on the BN YouTube channel, make sure to actually subscribe, as I do the t-shirt shows every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Central, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, and I do them live. And yes, I do them live, relaying when Ghost does his live broadcast. So of course you'll be notified when the next show happens. Also, you can also bookmark on the SideTube channel if you're in the SideTube channel, or you can also follow me on Twitter at the Brody Network, or BN King, which is my Gab account. And of course, make sure to follow Politics Ghost, which is his Ghost real count on his Gab, so do make sure to follow him. Anyways, God damn it, I just can't concentrate with him playing that damn bass. What else would you say? Oh yes, shoutouts. So special shoutouts right now I'm taking are people who are new subscribers currently during the broadcast, and of course any new donators who tip to the stream. And I actually got one which donated twice. Eva Maria, yes, Eva Maria donated 2 times. One for 20 SEK, which stands for Swedish krona, and another one for 50 SEK. I don't want to. Well, actually, I can read one of them because the other one is just pretty much something I kind of. Well, actually, I can read it. One, it reads, "Hey, here's a few bucks to celebrate NG Hour." Yes, thanks for that. And of course, the second one, I think he's talking either Tom or Ghost. He's a Nazi, also a minor. Well, that is your opinion, but thanks for the tips. Anyways, let's move on to the regular shoutouts. So that's all. That's only no new subscribers All right, let's move on. If you want to shout out once again, I'm going to be heading over to the SciTube channel because last time we did YouTube last week. So if you want to shout out right now on the SciTubes, I'm taking SciTubes up for currently at the moment. Do it now. Be present and use on the user list. So go ahead and do that now. All right, let's Kroners. Sorry about that. Like I said, yes, I take currency from around the world, and yet again, it's kind of weird to have other countries' money, but that's kind of cool. But still can just take it for USD anyways. Let's get some shoutouts for SciTube before I go to YouTube. It's going into Chaosy, Night Purple Ponies in the Plays, T Rian's going on It's going on to Chrome Thunder, Clenite 71, Deadeye 3006, Dr. Bristol, Edgar's the Blaze Flyer, King Dam, Mask Pony, Scarlet Moon, The Awesome Sponge, Overman 88, and Roy on the Short Bus. And of course, that's everybody on the SciTube. Mr. Shout out on the SciTube. Shout out to y'all. Thanks for coming. And now let's move over to the YouTubes because right now we're taking YouTubes. Okay, we want to. Dang it! Turn off the goddamn guitar. Thank you. Oh my God! I'm really gonna. I'll deal with them after the stream. Let's take some YouTube shoutouts anyways. We're taking YouTube shoutouts. If you want YouTube shoutouts, all you do just spam that YouTube chat right now. So please spam that YouTube chat right now. And if you want to get a shout out, because I'm right now taking the list. So I'm naming them from participants A to Z. That's how you can do it. The only way you can do it, once again, just spam it, because of course that's the only way you can appear in the participant list. Alright, now let's take a shout outs. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. It's going on to Aaron Tumon, it's going on to Alex101XL, Awesomeness, Balzac T Bugger, it's going on to Bagger. It's going on to Blackout Worm, Chris Jaros, Epic Voice Brony, Aaron Vaughn, Gisbergian, Flexa, hey Flexa. It's going on to JK, K Ray, Midnight Smiles, Omega Radio returns. We got Pinkie Pie. Hey, Pinkie Pie, you actually got a new Abby pick or an avatar pick. I love it. It's going on to Rick Hoover. Once again, there's Scarlet Moon and X-String 93. Oh God, it's already started. Oh man, I'm missing it. Anyways, that's everybody on the YouTube's shoutouts. If I missed your YouTube shoutout right now, or you are not present, just go ahead and do it now, because I'm taking some YouTube shoutouts for a short while. I don't want to miss this. Anyways, so yeah, I've got nothing else to say, guys, for the post show now, because of course, once again, I got this annoying person who keeps playing the bass guitar while I'm doing the shoutouts and of course doing the post show. But yes, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show and tonight's interview. So yes, oh yes. If you want the total of it, it's nearly about $8.50 or $9 almost. If you want to know the currency of the donations, so nearly $8 or $9, somewhere around there. Anyways, I'm done speaking here. I think that's everybody on the YouTubes. Yeah, that's everybody. I don't see anybody spamming if they got the shout out. So thank you for watching, thank you for listening. If you're watching these archives, thank you for coming out and watching. Right now I'm currently doing another live stream because I'm doing like 2 streams currently at the moment, and of course I'm missing out something awesome that's playing there. Yeah, he's practicing, you know. He has a new bass guitar that he just got in like a week ago, so of course this is pretty much a new thing he's practicing. I just wish he didn't do it during the nighttime when I'm doing this. But yes, guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. I'm out of here. I found some MTV. Yes, need one more sub till I hit 1K. It's one of these people who really likes to be a leech just to get. Anyways, I'm done. Thank you for watching and listening. Once again, I don't have no post show right now, except the post show. It's over to the BN Theater. Head over to the BN Theater. The link are in descriptions, and of course all the links for my social media are under descriptions. Click on them. This will be archived. This will be saved, of course. So you know you can re-listen to this anytime you want, and of course this be listening to pretty much anybody in future generations if YouTube's still up. So thanks again, guys, for this for the relay. Thank you guys for everybody for coming out, and hopefully I'll see you guys this Wednesday for the next broadcast or on the next TCR broadcast. So once again, thanks again, guys, for coming out, and head over to the BN Theater because we're gonna start the post show there. If you want to watch the rest of the the stream feed I'm actually doing currently at the moment, it's actually pretty good, and I'm very happy to actually seeing this, especially with it's what 25 years that it ran, so of course it's pretty awesome. So head over there now, but if not, I'll see you guys next time. So good night, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again, guys, for the relay stream. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. So bye, y'all. See you guys next time. Bye. Head over to the BN Theater right now. If it's offline, there's 24/7 stuff, something that plays in 24/7. So it's always playing something. So until then, enjoy the rest of the night. Bye, guys.